This is Adelaide's FIVEaa.
Partly cloudy, 24 today with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
FFA Extra Marion have a hydrotherapy pool now on site. Contact FFA Extra Marion or head to physioextra.com.
A high school reunion in the eastern suburbs over the weekend is in the COVID spotlight. Former Premier Jay Weatherill was at the event in Norwood on Saturday and has now tested positive for COVID. It's the third case linked to the get-together. Mr Weatherill's itinerary since then has included a visit to FIVEaa and lunch with the current Labor leader. Peter Malinauskas received a negative test result early this morning. Business SA is also an exposure site. An infectious man attended a training event on Tuesday night. CEO Martin Hazy says they're working with health authorities.
We were advised by FA Health, and in an abundance of caution, I asked all of my team members to go off and be COVID tested.
The first US case of the new Omicron COVID variant has been detected in California. Meantime, staying on top of the Delta COVID variant could be the key to dealing with Omicron. That's according to the World Health Organization, as its top doctors assess exactly how transmissible and severe the new variant is. Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says some countries have become too complacent.
Globally, we have a toxic mix of low vaccine coverage and very low testing, a recipe for breeding and amplifying variants.
New modelling shows more than 70% of parents intend to get their children aged under 12 vaccinated against COVID. Data published in the Lancet Journal also shows the same applies to parents with kids under 4 if one was available. The Therapeutic Goods Administration is currently assessing the vaccine for use on children under 12. A decision is expected in the new year. South Australians who have to work on Christmas Day will miss out on penalty rates. An attempt to get December 25 declared a public holiday has failed. Josh Peake from the Shop Workers Union says it's extremely disappointing.
To think that people will be missing out on their kids opening presents on Christmas morning or missing out on Christmas lunch for that sacrifice, won't be earning the Christmas Day penalty rates they usually get, I think indicates to us all that this government really has its priorities completely wrong.
Danny Laidley has officially lodged a fresh complaint against Victoria Police. The former AFL player and coach claims that officers downloaded and potentially distributed personal information from her phone while she was in custody in May last year. Separately, 3 officers were charged for leaking a photograph taken of Ms Laidley, while 39 officers faced internal disciplinary action. The first accuser in the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell has returned to the witness stand in New York's federal court. Nine's US correspondent Michael Genovese is there.
Known only by the pseudonym Jane Doe, the woman is now a Hollywood actor, but claims she remembers being 14 and frozen in fear at Jeffrey Epstein's home in Florida, where she claims he sexually abused her while Ghislaine Maxwell was in the room, and that on occasions she too would join in the abuse. Miss Maxwell is charged with 6 counts, including enticing, transporting and trafficking girls. She says she's innocent.
Now to FIVEaa Sport.
Win one of 2 holiday homes. Visit stjohnlottery.com.au before midnight Sunday.
And it's good morning to Tom Rehn.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. Let's start with some cricket. Australian opener Marcus Harris says he's worked hard on his game after being dropped from the Test side in 2019. The Victorian is back to open the batting with David Warner in next week's first Ashes Test at the Gabba. Harris says he's a more well-rounded player these days.
You know, that was a tough series over in England and I had to come back and work on some stuff. And I feel like I've worked on my game, worked on my consistency and just being able to make big hundreds. So I think that's probably been beneficial.
There's still no confirmation on Alex Carey getting the gloves for the Gabba Test, but that is expected to happen. And there's been no talk on whether Travis Head will bat at number 5 or if Usman Khawaja will get the nod. Well, Frankston in Victoria will host the AFLW season opener on January the 7th. The full fixture will be revealed a little later today. Socceroos coach Graham Arnold is dismissing criticism from his old teammate Mark Bosnich over his tactics in the World Cup qualifying campaign. Meantime, there's a stack of EPL games on this morning, including Everton, who will host Liverpool in the Merseyside derby. And supercars hit the track for the first time today in opening practice for the Bathurst 1000. There will be 2 practice sessions around the Mount Panorama circuit. And that's the FIVEaa Sport.
Now the FIVEaa forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
24, partly cloudy today, partly cloudy tomorrow, 24, and the same on Saturday. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEaa.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6:05. Hello, good morning to you. Welcome to 5AA Breakfast from various locations across Adelaide this morning. It's a rarity that we start the show by also featuring in Mel Usher's news, but so is this Thursday, the 2nd of December, where we can confirm that, yes, 5AA and those that did come into contact with the former Premier, Jay Weatherill, are currently in quarantine. That means me, and that means you, David Penberthy. David, good morning to you.
G'day, Will. How are you going there?
I've had more sleep before.
So have you been at Victoria Park all night, mate?
Yeah, I went to Victoria Park last night at about 9:30, and I got there and they said 3 to 3.5 hours would be the lineup, because I think the news had just gotten out. So a lot of people, as we've seen, have come into contact with people that are at either this reunion or at various other hotspots that have sprung up. So we decided, you know what, let's wait it out. We sat in the line. We watched an entire episode of Get Back, and got the test. Came home, put together this. I reckon I've won the award for the worst home radio studio at the moment. I've got a trestle table that's just covered in spiders. We didn't have time to clean it up, so I'm just sitting here in a spider's web broadcasting this morning. But we got to air. How are you travelling?
Yes, I'm in the attic. I had to move a large pile of rubble because it's probably been how long is it? It was April last year when we did the original home broadcasting experiment, and since then the attic has become a bit of a dumping ground. Kate spent a lot of time working up here when she was writing the book, but I felt like I'd sort of stumbled into deepest, darkest Africa. It was like being one of the first explorers coming up here, because I don't actually think anyone's come up here for about 4 months. But yeah, I'm just still, you know me, well, I'm not good with anything involving. I think the two letters in the world that strike the most fear into me are I and T when they're put in that order. So I'm still grappling with the technology, because I happily unlearnt all of this after the original broadcast from home experiment. But yeah, Jay Weatherill, hope he's all right. He's had quite the visit to Adelaide. Came over to go to a high school reunion. It was a Henley High reunion where all of this started, and now here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Here we are broadcasting from our home this morning. Everything will remain the same, though. We've got you covered over the course of the next 3 hours. 8223 0000 is our number. You can text us as well on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line, 0448 08 1395. How did you find out the news yesterday? It's suddenly quite an oddity when you become at the centre of a potential hot spot. I got a text. I was having a nap in the afternoon yesterday, and such as, Australian humour, I got a text out of the blue from an old colleague saying, "So, mate, which strain do you think you have?" And I thought, well, that's not going to be good news, is it? I looked at all the SA Health hotspot and I said, mate, I haven't been hanging around any school reunions, so I don't know what you're talking about. And he said, yeah, but you have been hanging around Jay Weatherill. So it was an oddity. And then, of course, last night, I'm sure you would have done this because you would have had to work it out for you. You've got a household of people. I've got a household of people here that I live with. Suddenly you have to work out the SA Health matrix for real. And, that was like an hour and a half long roundtable debate we had about what some of the meanings of that. It's clear for you and I because we're direct contacts of someone who's got a confirmed case.
Well, are we necessarily? Are we necessarily a direct contact? I suppose the thing that probably pushes it into that territory was we obviously had Jay Weatherill in the studio on Tuesday morning. He was sitting to my right, so he was sitting probably a metre away from me, so certainly within 1.5. He was wearing a mask when he came in, but he wasn't wearing one during the interview, obviously, and we don't wear masks in the studio. He was there for about 12 minutes, I think. But I haven't had any... to the question, how did I find out? Jay kindly texted me last night saying, I've got COVID, and you're going to have to get tested, sorry. And I wrote back, geez, mate, I hope you're all right. And But yeah, then immediately started thinking through everything with the kids and where we've been, and rang my parents because they always come for dinner on Tuesday night. So I don't know, I haven't heard from them yet, but I'm not sure if they went for a test last night or whether they're going this morning. So what time did you actually get out of being tested, mate?
I reckon we were. It was about midnight, close to 10 to 12 or something. And you know me, I broke all records last night in terms of getting to bed on time. Because then we came home and there was the home studio setup process. So I thought, well, trying to get that done before I go to bed. So, oh my gosh, it was a late one, and it was interesting last night too.
How long did it take you to set up the home studio?
Oh, about 20 minutes, probably, something like that.
Yeah, right.
20 minutes because you're right. It's none of it's second nature. It's all different, new fandangled sort of material and technology. But at the Victoria Park Racecourse, clearly Peter Malinauskas, when he got there, because I saw that he put up on Twitter that obviously they had that lunch yesterday, so he had to get along. He seemed to get in and out quickly, but then news broke, and gee, there was a lot of people. People do a great job of responding to this kind of stuff once the news gets out, and it was packed. But the 3 to 3.5 hour wait, they said, it was probably an hour shorter than that, and I think partly that was because so many people bailed out at the length of the wait, or maybe made a run from Modbury. I know Lucy went to Modbury to get tested last night, because they're the two 24-hour clinics. Amazing all the information you learn suddenly when you're at the centre of it.
Well, I haven't been tested yet. We were stuck here last night with the kids. They were asleep when we found out. We couldn't get anyone to come round to the house because obviously we're not sure what our status is. So it wasn't like I was going to ring my soon to be 80-year-old father and ask him to walk into this pestilent domestic setting and do a bit of late night babysitting. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it straight after the show this morning.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Bring a book, bring a DVD player or something or other, an iPad, because I reckon there's going to be a lot of people as a result of this that are lining up today. How's this? Our resident stats man, Ben Jordan, who yesterday won tickets to the Sprout dinner on Tuesday night, which I would suggest the status of which is terminal, has said, well, at least for us, has said, wish you guys well in the circumstances. At least it should be a short quarantine. Your show from home in 2020 went from the April the 2nd to May 18. Did we do it that long from home?
Oh, God, was it that long?
Was it that long? Wow. Oh, well, this will be nothing then. This is a piece of cake.
See, I've just blocked out that period of my life.
Yeah. So it was six weeks. I would not question the validity of Ben's stats. The man's a genius. We got to speak to him yesterday. That was terrific. 13 after 6. We're going to take a short break, and we'll get to some of the news headlines not involving us in just a moment.
Did you know that the Reject Shop has your grocery essentials at Australia's cheapest prices? Including 500-gram Beyondy assorted pasta, only 50 cents each. For the cheapest snacks and groceries, it's got to be the Reject Shop, where we guarantee cheapest prices every day.
You can find lots of reasons not to have a COVID-19 vaccination, but there's even more reasons to have one. Like Auntie Cheryl and Uncle Bill and little Keisha and Nick and Big Dave and nice old Nan. Love you, Babs. Because the people you care about are the best reasons to get vaccinated. And with COVID-19 now in our communities, it's more important than ever to protect yourself and the people around you. Have a yarn to your healthcare worker about getting vaccinated. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Great deals on laundry appliances now at Harvey Norman. Like the AEG 10 kilo front load washing machine plus 8 kg sensor dryer heat pump dryer package, only $3,869, save $1,129. Save up to $1,000 on AEG laundry packages. Fisher & Paykel front loader washing machine with steam, only $1,088. LG 8 kilo heat pump dryer now $1,588. Or Electrolux 6 kilo sensor dryer, great price, $477. More great deals on laundry appliances now at Harvey Norman.
Go! The new Nissan Navara is the ultimate work vehicle, built tough with advanced tech to get the job done. Speak to your local Nissan fleet experts today about tailoring a vehicle solution for your business needs.
Barossa Valley Chocolate Company is more than just a chocolate factory. They also make 21 flavours of gelati, which you can also try in their famous milkshakes. And while you're there, make sure you pick up plenty of their popular milk chocolate honeycomb made with Adelaide Hills honey, peanut brittle with Aussie peanuts, and their delicious Turkish delight. With these scrumptious sweets and over 250 other products, you're sure to find something for everyone on your Christmas shopping list. There's also a Barossa Valley Chocolate Company cafe on the deck overlooking the water. It's a great spot. The menu filled with local ingredients, and you should ask about their wine and chocolate pairings. Make the trip to Tanunda for a family day out at the Barossa Valley Chocolate Company, Burings Road, Tanunda.
9 News is the one that's always been live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide for Adelaide. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
16 after 6. Everyone will be leaving us alone, at least for the next 7 days, I suspect. News headlines time on this Thursday morning. Well, let's start with the obvious. Former Premier Jay Weatherill has spent the night in isolation after receiving a positive COVID test last night. The now WA resident, currently an SA on business, attended an event in Nord on Saturday with interstate followers. High school reunion it was. 2 other men at the event have tested positive, marking the return to South Australia of community transmission. And of course, part of his round trip here in South Australia was to our studio at Hindmarsh Square.
Now, this has given me the final bit of confirmation I needed that high school reunions actually suck. I've never attended a high school reunion, and I'm never going to now after this because, people stay in touch for a reason. And while it would be nice to catch up with some of your old mates, I'd be more put off by the sheer embarrassment of standing there with someone going, "Oh, Dave," and you go, "Oh, mate, I'm so sorry," like not being able to remember people. But now school reunions come with the added bonus of being infectious.
Well, what's become immediately clear is that SA Health missed a trick at the very start of the pandemic, and instead of closing borders and banning people from catching up with loved ones, they should have just started first with the low-hanging fruit that is tedious social events. Like high school reunions should have been out, workplace meetings should be out. In fact, out of an abundance of caution, they should all be cancelled now. I suggest politely to
blue sky thinking planning days.
Exactly. Yeah, they're done. They're just super spreader events, unfortunately. The likelihood of the Ashes test going ahead in Perth has faded further, with the West Australian government standing firm on its tight border and quarantine rules. With the match just over a month away, the Victorian government has ramped up its campaign with Cricket Australia to bring the match to Melbourne. The Sport and Tourism Minister says it would be a great event.
We could get a second Ashes test here and see what the G looked like under lights. I think that'd be extraordinary for cricket.
The World Health Organization is yet to confirm if the new coronavirus variant Omicron is more severe infection than Delta has been, and exactly how it responds to current vaccines. The WHO's doctor says it's still early days.
We don't have all the information yet on transmission in terms of if there is a fitness advantage, if it's more transmissible. There is some suggestion of that, but again, it's early days. We expect to have more information on transmission within days, not necessarily weeks, but in days.
South Australian workers will miss out on penalty rates this Christmas Day. Their government voting to set aside the bill to make December 25, which falls on a Saturday, a public holiday. Josh Peake from the Shoppies Union says we're the only state in Australia with such legislation.
Workers working in jurisdictions with Liberal premiers in New South Wales and Tasmania will be getting paid public holiday penalty rates on Christmas Day. This shouldn't be a Labor or Liberal thing. This is Christmas Day we're talking about.
You would have done a few Christmas days back in the day at the Central Market or some such, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I actually did more Christmas days. The market was never open on Christmas Day. It was often open on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve was the most punishing shift of the year by a country mile at the Central Market. You felt like you're in the front row at the Nirvana concert at the Big Day Out in 1992. There were people just pushing and tripping over each other to get their stuff. But I actually did more Christmas days as a junior reporter at the Advertiser, and it was the saddest shift. You just sit there and, I'd go down to Salvation Army soup kitchens and talk to people down on their luck. But not a good day to be working ever. No,
it's not great. I've done a couple of Christmas days here on AA, And it's a really important day for local talk radio because it ends up being a community of people that don't have somewhere to be. And, you know, as much as that can have a nice vibe, it sort of ends up being that way on the day because where else do you go? Especially if you're not mobile, as a lot of people and a lot of listeners on the day are. So, it's not a great day to be working, but everyone who is working, it's kind of important. You know, no one's doing it for frivolous reasons.
No, exactly.
All right, let's talk about the weather today. We're going to be gazing at it from outside the window, so, you know, personally it feels somewhat irrelevant. But anyway, here it is, out of the goodness of our hearts. 24, the expected top today. Tomorrow will be 24 and Saturday 24, which makes it very easy to remember. Sunday will get up to 28. Monday will be warm, 31 on Monday. Tuesday 25. Wednesday 22. And as we've been saying, it's just suns on the forecast at the moment. No rain. Not even any wind to tell you about. It's just magnificent early summer sort of weather.
I don't know what the actual temperature was yesterday, but my guess, it was about 5 degrees higher than the stated temperature. Or, I don't know, maybe I just need to go and get a COVID test, but I felt particularly warm.
Well, you got to do that today, my friend. That's all ahead of you, that joy.
It's either spring or it's Omicron. I'm not sure yet.
It was weird reading that story from the World Health Organization and thinking, well, if only there was a petri dish of people that had shared a room together, they could do these sort of tests on Omicron about. And here we are.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
We should give old Eddie Tadros a ring and let him know that we might be it. That we're. Yeah. You know, this is the state that brought you Howard Florey. You know, we helped discover penicillin and done a lot of firsts here. I reckon the FIVEaa Brekkie show could lay down its body in the name of science.
Imagine the World Health Organization boss being told, look, these are the same people that brought us Howard Fleury, and then he meets David and Will. How about a letdown that'd be?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Not the same level of sort of mental capacity. We're going to take a short break. It's 22 minutes after 6. We're going to talk sport. Tom Rehn in the FIVEaa Breakfast Studio with us in a moment.
Get into the holiday spirit this Christmas with Cheapest Chips.
Cheapest Chips.
Help Santa gift cheaper with gift ideas from $10, tons of toys from $5, and all your Christmas treats from $2. And to help deck the halls, there's Christmas decorations and accessories from $4. So do holiday cheaper and get into the holiday spirit at Cheapest Chips. Go to cheapestchips.com, shop, click and collect, or have your Cheapest Chips Chrissy goodies delivered to your door.
Need a new mattress? About to go to the store on the weekend to choose one? Do me a favour and listen up. Don't buy a mattress from a store. Get a Sleeping Duck. It's the new, better way to get your mattress that was created by 2 aerospace engineers. Ask your friends about it because it's taken Australia by storm. With a Sleeping Duck, you don't have to make a decision after lying on it for 2 minutes in a store. Instead, you open it up and adjust it as much or as little as you like in the comfort of your own home. It's made from the best materials and it's manufacturer direct for incredible value. It comes delivered to your door and you know exactly what you're getting inside. And if you're unhappy in the first 100 nights, they'll take it away and refund you at no cost. So you'll never be stuck with an uncomfortable mattress ever again. So this weekend, just visit sleepingduck.com.
So why go with NRG Solar?
My first contact with NRG Solar was through Michael. He had a look around the house, around the roof. We have particular problems with trees, so he assessed the situation, made some calculations, discussed the options with me. What I liked most about the visit was that Michael was prepared to explain things in simple language to us and look at the options and just basically being professional.
Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Across SA, there's bound to be an independent RAA-approved repairer close by. There's over 450. They're ready to assist with servicing, mechanical problems, crash repairs and specialty jobs. They're audited to RAA's high standards, giving you peace of mind that your car's in good hands. So, before you head out on your next road trip to do the fun stuff, let RAA take care of the car stuff. Search RAA Motor for more.
Keep on moving on.
RAA-approved repairers are independent service providers, not agents of RAA. Terms and conditions apply. Available from RAA.
FIVEaa Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to FIVEaa Facebook or search FIVEaa on YouTube. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to FIVEaa Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
25 minutes after 6. Time to talk sport with Tom Rehn, who's in the FIVEaa Breakfast studio there in Hindmarsh Square. Win one of 2 holiday homes. Visit stjohnlottery.com.au before midnight Sunday. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Missing you in here, boys. Hopefully you're back tomorrow. You're hoping to get those results a little bit later today, I'm guessing.
I'm not sure we're back tomorrow either way.
Yeah, that's it. Well, hopefully, who knows what will happen. It's above my head, that's for sure. But look, fellas, the FFA Cup, not sure if you would have seen much of this last night because you're obviously busy and preoccupied with what was going on, but it looked like we were going to get a great upset because Adelaide City, they're a local NPL side, they were playing against the Melbourne Victory, who we know are a big A-League club, and they were playing in a round of 32 match. This is the knockout tournament with all the sides from around the country. And there it was, 0-0 into the 94th minute. Looked like we'd go to extra time, potentially penalties, but then in the dying seconds of the game, this happened.
It's a tough angle from here. Laurie Latanzio to win it. Potentially, it's a penalty to Melbourne Victory. And 2 weeks in a row, Anthony Laban with the winner. And this one should send Melbourne Victory through to the round of 16.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So, unfortunately, the dream ended there. 95th minute, the last kick of the game, basically. So, unfortunately, the romance didn't happen. That's why we have tournaments like this. I think the fans love it. But it ended for Adelaide City last night in pretty heartbreaking circumstances, unfortunately. Now, the other thing...
Yeah, no, it's pretty sad, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing, too, I was just going to talk about, boys, was the first test. We still haven't got confirmation. There is so much wet weather up in Brisbane at the moment. The good news is it does look like it's going to turn around for the start of the test match itself. So that's the positive news. But Alex Carey, we're still waiting for confirmation, or final confirmation, if you like, that he's going to get the gloves to replace Tim Payne. Now, that hasn't happened at the moment, but I think the reason for that is largely because Justin Langer, the coach, has been in Tasmania seeing Tim Payne. So I think once he's back with the team and he's able to address everyone and, Josh Inglis and all of those who are involved, I think that should happen perhaps as soon as today. So expect that to happen in the next 12 to 24 hours. Still not sure what's going on with Travis Head and Usman Khawaja. The battle for the number 5 spot doesn't appear to be in the public yet anyway, but hopefully we're going to have, at one stage, we're going to have confirmation that Alex Carey is the keeper a little bit later today.
Hey, Tom, it was a pretty crazy night for us, as you rightly said. It was also a pretty crazy night for you with the goings-on at Channel 9. I'm certainly not going to put you on the spot, nor is Will, because, you're our mate and we don't do this segment with you to treat this like the 7:30 report. But I just wanted to, I did want to ask, it must be some heavy hearts in there about this. People work together, they become friends, people end up with different opinions and views. But yeah, I was feeling for you guys last night because I know how close you all are, and I know that we here have got a great with Warren. Personally, I hope he can just come to his senses and get jabbed because, with COVID coming into SA, the thing that makes me feel really comfortable is that I've got both the vaccines and my whole family has. But it must be a pretty difficult place to be right now.
Yeah, it was a strange day, that's for sure. And look, Warren's someone who I consider a very close friend as well, and a great person to work with. And I hope that he is going to be there. As far as I'm aware, he's on some leave at the moment. I mean, he was due to go off, pretty soon anyway. So I'm hoping we see him back because he's an A-grade person, fantastic guy to work with, and a great team player. So you're right, bit of a strange one yesterday, Pembo, but I'm just hoping that, we can see him again at Channel 9 and, AA ongoing because he's just such a great person to work alongside. So I hope that is the case moving forward.
Yeah, no, well said, mate. Good
on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys. Have a great one. Hope to see you boys back in here soon as well.
Yeah, so do we. We don't say that too often. Exactly right. All right, it's coming up close to 6:30. Coming up in the next half hour of the program, we're going to be off to the US very shortly. We'll get the latest from what's going on stateside. And then a little bit later in the morning, the very opposite to being trapped in your home is being out on a road trip. We've got a couple of our listeners who will be reporting back. I saw some pictures. They look like they had a hell of a lot of fun yesterday. We'll have the latest for you on that a little bit later in the morning.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy, 24 today with a 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra hands-on physio at 6 locations. Even more convenient now with online bookings at physioextra.com.
Just over a week after reopening the borders, SA is now dealing with community transmission of COVID. Multiple cases have been linked to a school reunion at Norwood on the weekend. It took place on Saturday, and former Premier Jay Weatherill, who was there, has now tested positive. He's working with contact tracers to map his movements, which includes a visit to 5AA during the week. He had lunch with Peter Malinauskas in the city on Monday. The opposition leader received a negative test result this morning. Ocean View College at Taparoo will be closed today after a member of that school community tested positive. Full details on all the sites and times are on the SA Health website. Well, countries are being warned to keep up their COVID vaccination and testing rates as the new variant Omicron continues to spread. Nine's Europe correspondent Brett McLeod has more.
The WHO says blanket travel bans won't stop its spread. While there is some suggestion the variant may be more transmissible than Delta, the organisation says it's too soon to gauge its severity. The briefing came as the head of the European Union said member nations should consider compulsory vaccinations. Greece is financially penalising those who don't get the jab, with Austria and Germany expected to follow.
SA will be the only state in the country where Christmas Day is not a public holiday. A bill that would have declared December 25 a public holiday has failed to get up in state parliament. Josh Peake from the Shop Workers Union says thousands of workers will miss out on penalty rates.
It's about $170 for someone on an 8-hour shift in terms of lost penalty rates, and then a lost day's pay for a retail worker around about $150 to $200, which is pretty significant.
The ANZ is facing a class action over credit card interest rate charges. A statement of claim filed in the federal court alleges the bank of unconscionable conduct by charging consumers interest on purchases that they repaid in a timely manner. The federal government has abandoned its push to pass its controversial voter ID bill ahead of the election. The legislation would force voters to present a form of identification at polling booths, rewriting current rules asking people to provide their name and address. Liberal Senator James McGrath says there are no risks to the reform.
It was all about protecting our democracy. It was making sure that people can't commit electoral fraud and making it harder for that to happen. That is a good thing. I can't understand why anyone would argue against that.
iPads could be off the Christmas gift giving list this year. Tech experts are warning of a shortfall in supply. Apple's entry-level iPad is sold out until early February. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Win one of 2 holiday homes. Visit stjohnlottery.com.au before midnight Sunday.
And it's good over to Tom Rehn. It's all happening in the tennis and it's all happening in the cricket, Tom.
It certainly is. We'll start with cricket first, Mel. Australian opening batsman Marcus Harris is praising coach Justin Langer and the selection team for openly backing him ahead of the Ashes series. Harris has only played 1 test match since underperforming in the 29 Ashes series in England. And the tennis you're talking about, Mel, well, the Women's Tennis Association has carried through with the threat to suspend its tournaments in China over concerns for Chinese player Peng Shuai. Nine's Craig Gabriel reports.
The head of the WTA, Steve Simon, has announced that the governing body of women's tennis is suspending all tournaments in China, including Hong Kong. This follows the allegations of sexual abuse made by Peng Shuai. The WTA has said unless they're convinced that she's safe and not censored, they will not allow any tournaments to be staged there. It affects 10 events with prize money of over $30 million, and they haven't said if they're closing their office in Beijing.
Meantime, Kazakhstan has taken a surprise 1-0 lead in the best-of-3 Davis Cup quarter-final tie against Serbia. Novak Djokovic, though, has won the first set and is up a break of serve in the second in the other singles match, meaning it looks like it's going to a deciding doubles rubber. And there's a stack of English Premier League games on this morning. There's about 15 minutes to play in the first half in several of them. Southampton and Leicester locked at 1-1. West Ham is 1-0 up against Brighton. Wolverhampton and Burnley are locked at 0-0, while the match between Watford and Chelsea has been paused as the paramedics attend to a medical emergency in the crowd. And that is the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
Partly cloudy today. We're heading for a top of 24, the same tomorrow and the same on Saturday. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
25 minutes to 7, broadcasting into you live this morning from a makeshift room in Grange. That's where I am. David's in the attic in Wayville, and we're both in quarantine. Andy and Lucy are masked up. We're watching each other on a video screen, getting flashbacks and PTSD from PTSD, actually. How much sleep have I had? PTSD from this time about a year ago. In fact, it was a little longer ago, a year ago. And anyway, it's a unique circumstance for this morning, but we're getting some terrific texts through on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line, some calls as well. I think we've got Angie from Mansfield Park on the line. Angie, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
So far, so good.
We're good, thank you.
Oh, good. I'd just like to, if you could give a shout out to everybody that was at Vic Park yesterday. I actually worked down there. And I didn't know, like it was about, I can't remember what time it was, and I saw all these cars coming through, and I said to one of the ladies I was swapping, she said, "Oh, haven't you heard?" And I said, "Heard what?" And I said, she said, "Oh, there's been a massive exposure." And I said, "Oh, my God." So, yeah, we were very, very busy, as you could imagine. Yeah, the wait time was about 2 hours, or 2.5 actually. But, yeah, just to give a shout-out to the staff there, we just worked and worked and worked, and for people to just have a little bit of patience. You know, we try our best and we do as much as we can. But, yeah, it was just, as you can imagine, saw the lineup probably on the, we've probably seen it this morning on the news. It was just, yeah, pretty hard going. But
did you see it? Did you see it on the news, Angie? I was there in it last night. You may have even... You might have even swabbed me. I don't know. We may have met at an sort of an intimate nasal level. I'm not entirely sure.
We probably may have, absolutely. There was quite a few people that I knew that actually went through. I thought, what is going on? For me, it was a bit of a reunion. But, you know, just to say to people, look, just have a bit of patience. You know, we do work and we try to get everybody through as hard as we can. And most people are really, really good with us. You know, they understand. But the staff are just amazing out there in the conditions, you know, in the sort of heat. If you think it's hot on the outside, just try working in the tent in all those PPEs and you're in them for hours on end, you know. But, yeah, so it is what it is, I'm afraid. Just have to get on with it. But, yeah, so if we could just do that.
Yeah, that's right.
And the other thing, I'd like to do is give a bit of a shout-out to the people at Glenelg Community Hospital. You know, you saw that ad in the bit in the paper on Sunday. I work down there as well as a nurse, and it's a beautiful hospital, and I'm hoping that we can actually save it because it's the only one, I think, that's another two. It's been around for 71 years, and it's an amazing little hospital.
Good on you, Angie.
I couldn't agree with you more, Angie. A friend of mine had cancer. Many years ago, a friend of mine had cancer and recuperated in that hospital, and they did a terrific job. I was going to ask you, Angie, I'm in a different position from Will because I couldn't get tested last night because Kate and I were stuck here at home with our two young boys who were asleep. So I'm one of the many South Australians waking up this morning and thinking, well, I might be linked to the Norwood exposure site, and I need to get tested today. Have you got any advice for people like me as to, you know, where we should go, when we should go, and what's the best place to get ourselves checked out?
Yeah, usually, look, first thing in the morning's usually pretty good. So I reckon if you get, you finish at about 9, don't you? If you hot-foot it down there, probably. But I guess it just depends on how many people thought, we're not doing tomorrow night, because God knows I think most of Adelaide was down there last night. It's either that or you can try, I think they've got one at Bedford Park because you're down that end as well. They've opened up a new one at Bedford Park. So if you look on the SA Health website, I know that there's one at Bedford Park that they've opened up. So you should be able to, and I think the REPAT, but just check that one.
Yeah, there's one at the REPAT, yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, if you think Vic Park is going to be inundated, but we're usually pretty good. Normally in the morning it's not too bad, first part of the morning. And then if it's going to get busy, it'll just get busier. Yeah. Otherwise, try the Bedford Park one, which is up near Flinders.
Great.
Good on you, Angie.
Good on you. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I echo that. You know, sitting with the line last night, there's hundreds upon hundreds of cars going through, and people are probably getting a little bit frustrated. They're a little bit tense. They're worried about work and all that kind of stuff. Those guys, every single one of them has a smile. They all spent some time chatting with you and making you comfortable. Like the volume of people doesn't see a diminishing quality of service. And that's a testament to the people that are working there, like Angie's Fed. She sounds just absolutely lovely.
I reckon, rough calculation, I think I've been there twice with my teenage son, Jimbo. Kate's been there a couple of times, and our two youngest kids have had it. I think my daughter had one. But yeah, every time we've been there, you're dead right. The staff who work there, particularly when they're dealing with kids, they are so professional and so kind, and they make it, they're in and out of the old schnoz in no time.
Exactly right. Let's take some text now on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. There's a stat coming through. Some of them are trying to work out who's to blame for the whole FIVEaa quarantine situation, which is good. I think that's ripe area for picking. Guy in Highgate has actually, no, we've got Wally the Walnut says, Blakey. It's all thanks to Blakey. You've got to blame someone. Thank you, Wally. Guy in Highgate says, it looks like former Premier Joe will be spending more time in SA than he expected. Plenty of opportunities for Tom Kay to catch up with him in the next week or two. Probably in a Zoom meeting to avoid further poly with the COVID. Rich pickings for John Blake. Lots of John Blake-related content on the text line this morning. Someone else has made a broader point. I hope you guys both turn out negative, but I've got this concern. What does SA Health think in closing vaccine clinics over Christmas? I didn't realise the clinics were closed over Christmas.
Yeah, I read that yesterday. Apparently they're taking a bit of a Christmas shutdown. I think that's ill-advised. The other thing too, last night, I was talking to a friend who was trying to ring the SA Health hotline. Apparently the hotline stops at 8 o'clock. I would have thought there's enough public servants to maybe, try a little bit harder than that. It's been the one area of society that's been completely untroubled by this pandemic in a salary sense. I think a more 24/7 approach might make more sense, given that it's out of hours when people are crossing the lines to work out, who's been with who when things like this happen.
Hey, a few people on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. I actually I didn't realise we were on YouTube and live stream this morning. I had no concept, so I've put in zero effort. Good morning to those excellent people that are tuning in. Dion and another person have said, why isn't Will dressed up in Peter Shearer this morning? No excuses. Thank you for those texts. By virtue of awaiting a negative test, I couldn't get into Peter Shearer. I thought, whilst the saying is the show must go on, in this case, the show really shouldn't have gone on. So maybe next week I'll wear two outfits at once.
I got to say, I really love the idea of watching you over Microsoft Teams. We're wearing a brand new seersucker suit from Herringbone or something like that, but sadly we've had a bit of a double up. I think we've both gone for the sort of black T-shirt we found lying on the floor.
Oh yeah, well it's totally that. I got that, and I'm dressed by the pair of shorts that I never wear out of the house because they're too shabby, and sitting on a trestle table that I think's worth $17. So we spared no expense to put together this broadcast today. Where are we at? 17 minutes to 7. What we might do is just check traffic for the first time this morning. Thanks to Glenelg BMW, their opening sale event is on now. Exceptional opportunities across the range. Visit Glenelg BMW today.
Thanks, Will. Ad Mitcham got a hole on the road. Fullerton Road near Carrickhill Drive. That'll cause a few delays this morning, so avoid it if you can. Henley Beach, Military Road. That's still closed between Henley Beach Road and Main Street for works. Got detours in place there. And Dry Creek, pretty slow going this morning. That's for those continuing asphalt works on Salisbury Highway near Port Wakefield Road. Look out for cameras. Hillier Road, Evanston, and Aldinga Beach Road at Aldinga Beach. The Specsavers Black Friday sale is on. Hurry in for 50% off lens options when purchasing 2 pairs from the $249 range or above. Conditions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Finally, you can get back to the Lion. Get back to the Lion for your end-of-year celebration in our dining room or one of our incredible event spaces. And if you book a midweek function before the end of December, you'll score a $200 Lion Hotel gift card. Head to lionhotel.com.au for details.
Back to the Lion.
Get back to the Lion for your end-of-year celebrations. Get back to where you belong. The Lion, North Adelaide.
Hi, I'm Stuart O'Grady Race Director of the Santos Festival of Cycling. I'm riding for a reason this January, raising funds for Cancer Council to support South Australians impacted by cancer. You can ride your way, on the road, on a track, in a spin class, or exercise bike at home. Set your own distance as a challenge and raise funds. All the money raised goes towards supporting South Australians impacted by cancer. Register to Ride for a Reason today and make your ride count at rideforareason.com.au.
Now, you might think it's hard to get excited about shelving, but not when you're talking about Charmin shelving. And frankly, it's probably the best thing David's going to see today in his house.
I tell you what, I'd normally say, Will, that any time is a good time to get in touch with Charmin Shelving and get your workshop fitted out. Maybe not right at the start of a potential 7 days in quarantine. Or I reckon Bill's the kind of guy, if you rang Bill and said, look, Bill, I'm in a bit of a pickle. I'm stuck in the house for 7 days, but I want something to do. Do you reckon you could leave me a fully kitted out garden bench in the front driveway and as a form of contactless delivery? I reckon he'd say yes.
Yeah, they do it. They do that. He could make you something that's COVID safe. From workbenches, shelving, cabinets, tool trolleys, open angle shelving. In fact, if you wanted to wait out the pandemic, you could live in a Charmin shelf, and you would. Stainless steel benches, steel cupboards, even van and cool room shelving. Charmin shelving can literally do anything, and that includes made to measure.
That's right. Plenty of storage space. Day preppers out there. Jump onto the website and take a look, or visit their Facebook page. You'll be blown away with what the team at Charmin Shelving can do, and they make the whole process so darned easy.
So if you're in business, Charmin Shelving should be your go-to for a workshop fit-out. The possibilities are endless. Ask Christine or Bill for a free measure and quote. Jump online at charminshelving.com.au or call into 412 North East Road, Windsor Gardens.
In life, there are those that say they'll do and those that actually do. Some insurers don't offer free roadside assist for a year when you buy a new comprehensive car insurance policy. But Amy does. So instead of being stranded on the side of the road, in the pouring rain, we'll get you out of the storm and back on the road. It's a no-brainer. Go with the doers. Amy does. T's and C's apply. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS. The TMD is also available. Visit amy.com.au for a copy.
Visit the Reject Shop for the cheapest snacks and essentials. With 400ml morning fresh, just $2. 150-gram bags of Bluebird chips for $2. And 500-gram pasta packs, only 50 cents. The Reject Shop. Cheapest every day.
9 News is the one that's always been live and local. 9 News. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
30 minutes to 7. It's time to check in with SAPOL. Senior Constable Matt Brown is on the line. Matt, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning, guys. I understand you're radio remote this morning.
We are. Is this an official check-in from SAPOL, Matt? Are we?
Yeah.
I am at home. I am quarantining. Just so you know.
That's excellent. Just text us your green tick and everything will be all right. So.
Hey, Matt,
I have to get the
I got a question. If you're quarantining, are you still allowed to go to the Guzman Gomez drive-through, or is that banned?
Well, I think Deliveroo or Uber Eats could help you out there, Dave. So yeah, but they do make some quality tacos, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
We got a text from someone on the Telstra Stormont Barker text line saying there should be Uber PCR testing. I'd be fully up for that. They come around to you. That'd be sensational. Yeah, it's a winning idea. All right, let's get to
the only problem with Uber PCR testing is that it's cold when it arrives.
Does that mean you get it for free?
Yeah, that's right.
Now, Matt, you caught up with 4 people who are accused of stealing 2 cars at Clemzig.
That's right. It is a bit of a maths equation, but I'll talk you through it nonetheless. About 3:20 p.m. yesterday, a woman had parked her Range Rover station wagon at her home in Clemzig when she was approached by a man armed with a knife. Now, he threatened the woman, who also had her 2 young children in the car with her, and he was accompanied by another man who stole personal property from the woman's home, including the keys to a green Holden SS Ute. The victim and her children got out of the car, and the suspect drove off in the station wagon while the other suspect drove off in the Ute. Now, the woman and her children were not injured, but just before 5 a.m. today, witnesses reported seeing the green Ute being parked in Oratanga Road out at Modbury North. The suspect covered a ute with a tarp before joining 3 other suspects in the stolen Range Rover, which was nearby. And the station wagon then drove off, but it was spotted by nearby patrols on Montague Road heading east about 10 minutes later. It was then pursued along other roads, including Wright Road, Nelson Road and Kester's Road, as it continued north. Road spikes were deployed, but the station wagon managed to drive around them, and the stolen car then collided with a patrol car near the intersection of Whites Road and Diamond Road at Salisbury North. And a police officer inside the car suffered minor injuries. The Range Rover was then abandoned, and all 4 occupants were arrested, and they'll face numerous charges, including aggravated robbery and illegal use of a motor vehicle. So some good work by the patrols out there.
Absolutely, Matt. And also, what's Task Force Southern? What's the go with that?
Well, Major Crime Investigation Branch have initiated the formation of the task force to investigate a number of unsolved murders in the southern area of Adelaide. So there's 3 murders in particular where the victims and the alleged suspects are all believed to have been associated with local methamphetamine and crime scenes across the southern suburbs of Adelaide. And those alleged to have been murdered are Robert Atkins, Trevor King and Jeff Mundy. Now, Robert Atkins' murders obviously received a bit of attention in the media of late. And in 2020, he was alleged to have been held captive for about a week before being forced to commit crimes for his captors. Now, we did release CCTV footage of Robert on our Facebook page, so get on there and check it out. And it's where he's seen to be in the presence of another man, where he buys items from a store, and both are seen then leaving the store together. So we believe that he's been murdered within the area of Port Pirie or Boobarao, and his body has been left somewhere near Orroroo. And the car used by the suspects was captured by a safety camera on its way back to Adelaide, which was a black Jeep Cherokee with registration of S556AJE. So we're investigating that one, along with suspected murder of a Trevor King in February 2019 and Jeff Mundy in December 2020. So all the details are on our website, so get on there and check it out. And if you can help us, please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Matt, thank you for that. Senior Constable Matt Brown from SAPOL. Let's turn our attention to the weather. We've got Vince Rowlands from the Weather Bureau on the line. Vince, good morning to you, mate.
Morning, guys.
So what's happening out there for people that, can be out there?
Yeah, look, it's a bit cooler today than what we saw yesterday, but still fine conditions continuing. So got a top of 24 degrees today, a touch warmer in the northern suburbs, 25, and around the coast and up in the hills a touch cooler with 23 degrees. But 24 degrees seems to be the go for the next few days at least. We will see a top of 24 again tomorrow. Bit of mid-level cloud creeping in. Might get a couple of drops out of it, but nothing significant. And then 24 again on Saturday. But things do warm up as we head into Sunday. Beautiful sunny day, top of 28 degrees in the city, and then a bit warmer on Monday, top of 31. We will see another weekish change come through Monday into Tuesday, so a bit cooler on Tuesday, 25, and then 22 on Wednesday, but remaining dry. So, yeah, it's those beautiful sort of early summer conditions continuing across the city.
Good on you, Vince. Really appreciate that. Vince Rowlands from the Weather Bureau. A couple of texts on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. Jade with a Y says, guys, I really hope you and your families remain free of COVID and healthy. David, you are seriously the cutest, raising your hand every time you want to speak. So Jane's watching along on the Facebook and YouTube live stream this morning. She says, much love. God, on Joe, we have to do that because of the nature of the remote broadcasting and it being via Teams, everything's on delay. So what we see, what we hear of each other and guests in every which way makes this less fun than it usually is, David.
Yeah, I keep having flashbacks to about 1976 in Miss Boone's class at Marion Primary School, sitting there going, Miss, pick me. Being a precocious little 6-year-old, but it's a bit of a weird flashback to the schoolyard. It is amazing how much human interaction relies on. It's one of the things so massively and comprehensively about the rise of Zoom and Microsoft Teams. It's an absolute travesty for the human race if, on nothing more than miserly cost-cutting grounds, the use of this sort of technology for what were historically face-to-face meetings becomes the new normal, to use one of the more crapulous cliches of this friggin' pandemic. But no, there's no substitute for sitting down with people, looking them in the eye and going, here's an idea, that's a good one, one's not so good. But yeah, whoever invented this thing, there's a special place in hell for them. That's my cheery take on things.
All right, that was excellent. Thank you for that.
No worries.
Yeah, 6 to 7. I think it's Microsoft Teams, isn't it? So I think you may have just been blaming Bill Gates, which is actually kind of a common refrain we're hearing a little bit these days. It's 5 to 7 now. Let's take a break. We're going to catch up with Tim Lester in the US shortly.
We're investing $7.4 billion into health in South Australia, making 392 beds available, recruiting up to 1,920 health staff, and expanding emergency departments. We're investing more for health so you can spend less time waiting for care and more time where you want to be. Visit moreforhealth.sa.gov.au to know more. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Do you still love your car? Why not take it to Edwardstown Mazda to see what it's really worth? It's the safest and easiest way to move your car on and get into a new or used Mazda. 862 South Road, Edwardstown.
Now, if you're a landlord or tenant, then check this out. Toop and Toop have just launched Industry First. They're now giving tenants early access to rental properties. Tenants can secure a home up to 2 months sooner and before they become publicly available. Tenants simply register on the Toop and Toop website, then they'll notify you of any properties that match your needs.
And landlords, listen up, because this innovation could save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You can secure quality tenants up to 2 months in advance, and that's before you incur hundreds of dollars in advertising costs. It's brilliant, such a great concept by Toop and Toop, and it's one that's so needed in today's tight rental climate.
So if you want to tap into this incredible tenant network, head to toop.com.au or just give them a call today.
Get into the holiday spirit this Christmas with Cheapest Chips.
Cheapest Chips.
Help Santa gift cheaper with gift ideas from $10, tons of toys from $5, and all your Christmas treats from $2. And to help deck the halls, there's Christmas decorations and accessories from $4. So do holiday cheaper and get into the holiday spirit at Cheapest Chips. Go to cheapestchips.com, shop, click and collect, or have your Cheapest Chips Chrissy goodies delivered to your door.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
3 minutes to 7. It's time to head to the US. Tim Lester joins us from 7 News. And Tim, Alec Baldwin has given his first interview since the tragic shooting on the set of the film he was working on.
Morning, guys. How many twists and turns to this story? There's now another one. As you say, Alec Baldwin, the actor who was supposed to have pulled the trigger on the pistol back in October that killed the senior cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the New Mexico set and wounded director Joel Souza, has now sat down for an hour and 20 minutes with one of the most senior media interviewers in the United States, a guy called George Stephanopoulos with the American ABC network. Now, ABC has released a couple of parts of that interview a full day ahead of when they plan to put it all to air, and in that, he has some quite extraordinary things to say about when the bullet went off.
She was someone who was loved by everyone who worked with and liked by everyone who worked with and admired.
How did a real bullet get on that set?
I have no idea. Someone put a live bullet in a gun, a bullet that wasn't even supposed to be on the property.
Just extraordinary. The claim now by Alec Baldwin that he did not pull the trigger raises the question as to why the bullet discharged at all. But of course, legal authorities in New Mexico investigating where the live round came from when there wasn't even supposed to be one, as Baldwin said, on the property.
Yeah, amazing. And Tim, also, the first case of Omicron has been detected in California.
Yes, finally, the US behind on this, given they still have the world's largest death rate of any country from COVID, almost 800,000 people. You would have expected it to turn up here quickly. They've now finally isolated the first case here in California, and a good deal of discussion going on as to the extent to which they need to tighten up US air travel in particular, now that Omicron is here.
Good stuff, Tim. Thanks for that, mate.
No worries.
Good on you, Tim. It's right on 7 o'clock. It's FIVEaa News Time. We'll take you through some of the developing stories of the morning after 7 o'clock. We've also been in touch with Peter Malinauskas. He had contact with former Premier Jay Weatherill, but has received a negative test. That's some great news. So we'll chat with him a little bit later in the morning. And also, in much happier news, we're going to catch up with our RAA road trip correspondents in the next 15 minutes as well. They've been out on the road enjoying the best of South Australia. We'll hear how they've been getting on in just a moment.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's FIVEaa.
Partly cloudy, 24 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra Marion have a hydrotherapy pool now on site. Contact Physio Extra Marion or head to physioextra.com.
State Parliament has been adjourned today due to COVID. Opposition leader Peter Malinauskas had lunch with Jay Weatherill on Monday, and the former Premier tested positive for the virus last night. Mr Malinauskas has tested negative. Mr Weatherill attended a high school reunion at Theatre Bugs east of the city on the weekend. Several cases have been linked to the event, which is now being referred to as the Norwood Cluster. More cases are expected as community transmission returns to SA. Full details on all the exposure sites are on the SA Health website. Angie works at the Victoria Park testing site. She's told David and Will the lineup of cars was around 3 hours last night, and they're expecting huge demand today.
We just worked and worked and worked, and for people to just have a little bit of patience, you know, we try our best and we do as much as we can.
The Organisation of Economic Cooperation and Development says the new Omicron variant poses one of the greatest risks to the global economic recovery. OECD Chief Economist Lawrence Boone says speeding up the global distribution of vaccines should be a top priority.
The G20 countries have spent $10 trillion supporting people and their economies since the beginning of the pandemic. It would only take $50 billion to ensure vaccination worldwide. I'm just saying.
Meantime, the US has identified their first case of the variant in California. More than 20 countries have now reported cases of Omicron. South Australian workers will miss out on penalty rates this Christmas Day. The government voting to set aside the bill to make December 25, which falls on a Saturday, a public holiday. Josh Peake from the Shop Workers Union says we're the only state in the nation with such legislation.
Workers working in jurisdictions with Liberal premiers in New South Wales and Tasmania will be getting paid public holiday penalty rates on Christmas Day. This shouldn't be a Labor or Liberal thing. This is Christmas Day we're talking about.
A Tasmanian devil's whiskers could reveal previously unknown details about their lives. Nine Sarah Bora has more.
Scientists have found the long, wiry whiskers hold chemical imprints from food the marsupial ate up to 9 months ago. University of New South Wales experts believe the records can help unlock greater detail about the animal's everyday life. The mapped timescale captures seasonal dietary changes, habitat use and how they respond to environmental change. It is hoped the new detail can be used to better monitor the endangered species.
Now turning to FIVEaa Sport.
Win one of 2 holiday homes. Visit stjohnlottery.com.au before midnight Sunday.
And it's over to Tom Rehn.
Thank you, Mel. Excessive rainfall in Brisbane is expected to level the playing field between Australia and England in next week's first Ashes Test. Both squads have been restricted to indoor net sessions this week, unable to begin their intra-squad practice matches due to rain. Opening batsman Marcus Harris has told Wide World of Sports the conditions could suit the English bowling attack.
Yeah, the wicket's generally a bit better for batting in Australia, but with the weather that's around, definitely here in Brisbane and probably going to be on the east coast through the summer, I'm not sure what that'll serve up. And they've got a brilliant bowling attack, so it's going to be a good challenge.
Tennis veteran Sam Stosur has confirmed she will be playing singles at the Australian Open next month. The 37-year-old, whose only major singles title came at the US Open a decade ago, will receive a wild card to play at Melbourne Park.
Chances are it probably will be the last time. But yeah, look, I've just done my first day training back today. I'm seeing how things go. Had a bit of a run around today, so all in preparation and lead up to a big summer, hopefully.
Meantime, the women's tour, the WTA, has announced that it's suspending all tournaments in China, doubting the safety over player Peng Shuai. Heartbreak for local NPL side Adelaide City as they went down in their FFA Cup clash against Melbourne Victory 1-0. That was thanks to a stoppage time penalty. Meantime, there's a stack of EPL games underway. Liverpool not taking long to take a 1-0 lead against bitter rivals Everton in the Merseyside derby. Southampton's 2-1 up against Leicester heading into the second half. Chelsea has just gone 1-0 up against Watford. West Ham also 1-0 in front of Brighton, while it's currently 0-0 between Aston Villa and Manchester City. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
The Glenelg BMW opening sale event is on now. Exceptional opportunities across the range. Visit Glenelg BMW today.
At Mitcham, got a hole in the road, Fullerton Road near Carrackill Drive. Leeward Gardens, got a broken down car on the down track of the freeway. It's just near the tunnel, has got oil on the road, so take some care there. Henley Beach Military Road is still closed for works. That's between Henley Beach Road and Main Street. Detours in place. And Dry Creek, look out for asphalt works, which is slowing things up this morning. It's on Salisbury Highway near Port Wakefield Road. Got a camera too, Murray Road at Williston. The King end-of-year sale ends soon. Save up to 50% on Australian design indoor and outdoor furniture. Visit the King Keswick showroom or shop online. kingliving.com today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
24 today and partly cloudy tomorrow 24 and the same again on Saturday. Right now it's 18 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Good morning to you. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast Radio Hotspot, broadcasting live from home on this Thursday, the 2nd of December, at various homes, not all in the one home. That would be a contravention of the rules, wouldn't it? I'm in Grange, David is in Wayville, Andy and Lucy, and our tech Lockie, and a host of other people that put the show together are this morning spread out all over the state because, of course, we interviewed Premier Jay Weatherill the other day live in the 5AA Breakfast studio. Some have suggested, David, on the Telstra Stormont Barker text line, there may be karma for a John Blake, Tom Coots and Toner skit and a call-in. Not sure what they were talking about. I thought it was actually Tom that called in, but all the same, we are from home, raising hands, and still somehow on the YouTube and Facebook live stream.
Well, I think in terms of the extent of our exposure to former Premier Jay Weatherill, you can definitely blame Blakey for kicking it towards the 15-minute mark, because if he hadn't rung in and ambushed the program in his capacity as the fake Tom, then we probably would have been out well and truly under the 15-minute mark. But, yeah, look, as I said at the start of the show, I'm sure that Jay's going to be all right. It's a difficult situation for him to be in because obviously his wife and their two daughters are back in Perth where they now live. So he's going to be stuck here, making sure that he gets better, which we obviously hope he does. He sent me a text last night at about 7 o'clock. In fact, I was putting Sam to bed, so I just read him a book. Who writes these children's readers? The children's reader I read him last night was called How They Make Weet-Bix. Is there a least interesting topic in the world? So I just read this excellent book called How They Make Weet-Bix, and I'm lying there with Sam, and I get a text pops up from Jay saying, mate, I've tested positive for COVID, so you're going to need to get tested too. Sorry. And then we all got in touch, and from there all the zany logistics of doing radio from home kicked in, and you went and got a test, and I'm going to get one this morning straight after the show. So fingers crossed we're all in the clear. Good news about about Mally not having it. So,
yeah, he'll be on after 8:30. Are you going to tell us how you make Weet-Bix? I'm actually intrigued now.
I'll go and get the book during one of the outbreaks. I can read it out on air. It's
that's
fantastic.
Right, excellent. We'll look forward to that. You're going to spare our listeners too, which is merciful. All right, let's get into some of the stories that are making news this morning. Some that made news like yesterday too, like the fact South Australian Police have launched one of the state's largest task forces to investigate several unsolved murders in Adelaide, including suspected staged drug overdoses. Des Bray's heading up the investigation. Here's a bit of him speaking yesterday.
We are investigating a series of murders which have occurred in the southern suburbs by people associated with the methamphetamine scene and the criminal community. All have families, friends and people who love them, and those people want answers in relation to what happened. They want the people held accountable, and in the case of Robert Atkins and Jeff Mundy, they want to recover their remains.
Get used to hearing about Operation Southern Task Force, because I suspect this is a big one. There's going to be a lot that ultimately does come out of this, and we're going to be talking about it in FIVEaa and across all forms of media a lot. This is an extraordinarily large investigation that the police have done, and it already involves, 3 murders, potentially.
Yeah, it's got some pretty disturbing parallels with other big crimes that we clearly don't need to name. It'd be ghoulish to do so, but it's sort of sad underworld of people have fallen through the cracks, and for the sake of their dignity, because they're all people and they've all got people who love them. It's good to hear that SAPOL are piecing it all together, and no better bloke than Des Bray to head this one up.
There is another major festival or major event in South Australia that is going to be exclusively for the vaccinated. Gluttony is going to have a vaccine mandate. Here's Heather Kroll.
Whatever directive SA Health gives us is what we abide by. And there's no directive from SA Health about blanket rules for participation and coming along as an audience member to be double vaccinated.
Wonder if we might hear some more from the Fringe as well today. Their program announcement will be coming up a little bit later, and as yet we're unclear on their status. But look, you can see which way the wind's blowing. There's not going to be a major event for the unvaccinated, I suspect.
No, this is it. And this is where, all the people are holdouts. And, we mentioned Warren Tredrea earlier in the show, not popping up on Channel 9 last night. And we've seen it with the board member at the Adelaide Crows who's still, holding out and saying that he's doing his own research, drawing his own conclusions. These people, they're not only putting themselves in more danger from actually getting COVID in the event, now with the borders open, and you and I we're in the same situation where we're sitting here waiting to find out whether we're in the clear, and I'm sure that we are. But if we're not, we're in much better shape because we've been doubly vaccinated. Like the science on that is absolutely irrefutable. And so the main reason to do it is for your own safety and for your own family safety. But the secondary reason to do it, as Heather just has made clear, and I'm sure the entire Fringe will be a double vax only event. Life isn't going to be very entertaining if you're not doubly vaccinated.
Yeah, absolutely. You would be able to probably go to events like this. Crowded House have announced their first tour in 12 years.
Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, let come,
That's coming up. And also wrapping a big day in federal politics yesterday. 2 high-profile federal politicians are calling it quits at the next election. Health Minister Greg Hunt will join former Attorney General Christian Porter in announcing his retirement. Here is Christian Porter's resignation statement as read out in Sky News.
He announced he was quitting politics on Facebook, saying, "Before each election, I have always asked myself whether I could absolutely guarantee another 3 years of total commitment to the electorate, because people deserve that commitment free of any reservations. It's now time to give more of what is left to those around me whose love has been unconditional." He added in a barb to his critics, "There are few, if any, constants left in modern politics. Perhaps the only certainty now is that there appears to be no limit to what some will say or allege or do to gain an advantage over a perceived enemy. This makes the harshness that can accompany the privilege of representing people harder than ever before."
13 after 7. I like this idea on the Telstra Stormont Barker text line, albeit I suspect it's a contravention of our quarantine order. Rob says, could you not have done an outside broadcast at Vic Park and we could have watched David's test live? I like the concept.
I don't see why we couldn't. Like, if we were in some sort of giant see-through bag, one of those big Ziploc ones you do if you're marinating an entire brisket, as long as there was a breathing hole in the top and our potentially pestilent air wasn't coming into contact with anybody else, I think it's a terrific idea.
I just got a text. Nicholas Berry is not so sure on the breathing hole. Just SA Health a little bit concerned about how that might play out. 14 after 7. Let's check traffic.
They worry about everything.
It's time to check traffic thanks to the excellent people at Glenelg BMW, where their opening sale event is on now. Exceptional opportunities across the range. Visit Glenelg BMW today.
Near Benathan Park, got a smash in Port Road near Phillip Street. Mitcham, Hole in the Road, Fullerton Road near Carrick Hill Drive. That'll cause a few delays in the drive-in. Avoid it if you can. Leeward Gardens, got a car broken down on the down track of the freeway. It's just near the tunnels, oil on the road, take care. And Henley Beach, Military Road is closed for works. That's between Henley Beach Road and Main Street. Detours in place. Look out for a camera to Main South Road at Morford Vale. Try Krispy Kreme Cinnamon Bites, delivered fresh daily to all OTR stores for a limited time only. At OTR, you're never too far from delicious. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Leon Biner.
There are some statistics that you need to be aware of relating to drink and drug driving. Of those detected by roadside random tests, SAPOL has found 0.38 of those tested had alcohol in their system.
9 till 12 weekdays.
But the detection of drugs is actually in double figures. The last thing we want to hear is another loss of life on our roads.
As SA as Leon Biner. As SA as AA.
Visit the Reject Shop for the cheapest snacks and essentials with 400ml morning fresh, just $2. 150-gram bags of Bluebird chips for $2 and 500-gram pasta packs only 50 cents. The Reject Shop, cheapest every day.
Hi, I'm Stuart O'Grady, Race Director of the Santos Festival of Cycling. I'm riding for a reason this January, raising funds for Cancer Council to support South Australians impacted by cancer. You can ride your way, on the road, on a track, in a spin class or exercise bike at home. Set your own distance as a challenge and raise funds. All the money raised goes towards supporting South Australians impacted by cancer. Register to Ride for a Reason today and make your ride count at rideforareason.com.au.
Get more at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen with great deals on demos right across the range, all ready to drive away. And if you're impressed with our selection of cars, you'll love our service department with next day servicing, complimentary loan cars and breakfast or lunch on us. Why? Because when you're Adelaide's newest Volkswagen dealer, you want to give more. Visit mawsonlakesvw.com.au to see the range online. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Gift your loved ones a wild experience at Adelaide Zoo and the Monado Safari Park. There's an incredible range of animal experiences, memberships and zoo shops stocking fillers, perfect for the animal lover and experience seeker.
I was actually looking at their website last night where you can give people the gift of becoming a member for very affordable. I think it's $115 it starts at. There's plenty of different packages. But the other thing too, gift an unforgettable experience. It's guaranteed to get your loved one's hearts racing. Something like a close encounter with Monado's Lion Pride at the Jaw-Dropping Lions 360. That's fantastic. Or how about you just go and hand feed a giraffe or scratch a rhino if you don't mind?
It's a great opportunity to use vouchers with the kids or grandkids over the Christmas and New Year's holidays. Plus, you can skip the crowds and tick off your gift list in just a few clicks.
And as I was just saying, Zoo SA memberships are also a great gift idea and incredible value. They give unlimited visits to Adelaide Zoo and Monado Safari Park, plus entry to most of the major zoos around Australia. Check it all out now online at zoosa.com.au/gifts.
At IGA, you'll get everything you need this Christmas. Like Mars ice creams, 4 to 6 pack selected varieties, $4.25 each. That's half price. IGA, where Christmas is made special for locals. Offer ends December 7. Participating IGA stores only.
9 News is the one that's always been live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
Come on,
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
90 minutes after 7. We might be spending 7 days locked up, but our RAA road trip ambassadors are doing the exact opposite. Before you take your ultimate SA road trip, make sure you get your car checked at one of the 450 independent RAA-approved repairers, because who knows, a small fix now might save you a whole lot of bother down the road. Before you head out on your next road trip to do the fun stuff, let RAA take care of the car stuff. We've got Peter from Blackwood Park on the lines, who is our Limestone Coast correspondent. Now, you were suggesting it was T-minus, about 4 hours to the seafood yesterday, Peter. How did it all go?
Yeah, well, it was okay, but I did stop at Curran Bank for a vanilla spice, so that, got us there.
Oh, well played. Well, just walk us through the whole day. Where'd you get up to?
Yeah, sure. Well, we stopped off firstly at the Coorong Wildside Tours, and we did what they call a Coorong Wild Seafood behind-the-scenes experience, which is basically from the gate to the plate, so to speak, adventure. So from filleting fish to cooking and eating the fresh catch, and the specialty there was the mullet sashimi, which was brilliant. And our host, Skipper Glenn, who goes out on the boat and fishes, and his lovely wife, Tracy, the chef extraordinaire, put on a great day for us there, which was terrific.
Sounds magnificent. So what's on the agenda today?
Well, actually, just after that, we went another hour down to Wangalina Wines at Mount Benson, and we had a wine tasting there of a highlight of what is called a Taste of Europe, which are wines that resemble those of Austria, Spain and Italy, but they're made from their local grapes from Mount Benson and Mundalla area. So that was really good, and a nice platter as well. Terrific. And
beautiful
today,
stuff, magnificent.
Sorry?
Now we're going to cross over to Mark from West Croydon, who's tooling around beautiful Kangaroo Island in his vintage Hilux. How's it going, Mark? How's the car holding up?
Yeah, the car's going well, mate. It hasn't missed a beat so far, so it's staying in there. Yeah, it's good. It's not that vintage either, by the way. Thanks, mate.
No, it's only about 15 years, isn't it? They were good though. I reckon that era Hilux, they were good.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
what's been the highlight so far, mate?
We've had some wonderful experiences already. We managed to get across on the Sea-Link ferry. It was very, very smooth ride coming across. My wife didn't get seasick this time, so that helped us with the rest of the day. So we had lunch at a fantastic little place, Millie May's Pantry. If anyone comes to KI, they have to stop there for lunch. Angus beef cheeseburger and sweet potato fries. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, great little stop. And then we went into the ocean safari excursion, which was a 75-minute trip up and down the coast here around Penneshaw, and we saw some magnificent things. There were pods of dolphins that we could just idle along with that were coming around the boat and having a good look at us as we were looking at them. And we saw a couple of or a breeding pair of sea eagles, which is a fairly rare sight, they said, on this side of the island. There's only 70 breeding pairs in the state, and it's not often you see them. And that was great. They were flying around just in front of us, just over the water, and we saw them dive down and grab a couple of fish out of the sea. So that was a spectacular sight to see. And we saw some fur seals as well. Yeah, so it's been awesome so far. And then we came back to the accommodation, KI Seafront, and had a relaxing afternoon, and then headed off and had dinner at the Penneshaw Hotel. So we've got a pretty good time. What a great day! Yeah.
Will and I did the ocean safari thing last year. I think we did the pared down version because we're only there for a shorter amount of time, but. Those eagles that you saw sounded fantastic. And I mean, the great thing about KI, and I think we take it a bit for granted as South Australians, is that anyone from overseas, their jaws hit the ground and they go, this is just such a remote part of the planet. Like, you know, you could make an entire David Attenborough series about the joint. So, you know, everyone who hasn't been should head over there. Well, look, we'll check in with you again, guys. Keep enjoying the road trip, and big thanks to our good friends at RAA for making it all possible.
Thanks, guys.
23 minutes after 7, let's turn our attention to sports. Thanks to North Point Toyota. They do an excellent job supporting Rowie Show, and you can secure your next vehicle now with an instant tax write-off before June 30. Great chat Rowie had last night. This was really fun, and it confirmed the news we hoped we would hear. He was catching up with Alex Carey's sister, Ash Carey, who, almost made it official.
This is Alex's sister. She joins us now. Ash, welcome. Is he in?
Well, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but the tickets are booked. So if I can give that much away.
How good is that for you, the family? You've been there for his whole journey.
Yeah, it is incredible. We when we got the phone call Monday night, Alex doesn't usually ring us unless he wants something or he's got news. So as soon as I saw his name pop up, we just knew something exciting was happening. And the tears were flowing, and it was amazing.
He's worked so hard. He's had crossroads in his career, from football to cricket. He's been patient. He's been respectful. He's been the man in waiting. I had a little Google. He'll be test cap number 461. That green, baggy green. When he was a little boy, did he pretend or dream about this day? You shared that with him, Ash, in the backyard?
We pretty much every single afternoon after school, we're out there throwing balls to him. And if he got out first ball, he'd run to Mum, and then he'd get at least 5 other chances.
Oh, the little sookie lala. So you set him on his course, not Kevin Sheedy. Ash, you did.
Yeah, it was me and Adam, I think, in the backyard throwing all those balls to him. So I think we deserve some of the credit.
Beautiful.
It was a lovely chat, and nice to have it. I mean, it was basically the news was out. I think she's pretty fine revealing that, but it's been a hell of a long wait for Alex, but his family too. They've ridden it all with him. And look, frankly, we've made this point on a number of occasions. The bloke on merit, as his qualities as a batsman and a keeper, should have been in the team for years.
100%. And look, I think, I wrote a piece about this last week. I mean, I feel kind of sorry for Tim Payne, but I cannot for the life of me understand what motivates any bloke to stick the old phone down the front of the strides and start, sending pictures of their nether regions off to people, whether they're interested in receiving those photographs or not. I just do not get it as a trend. I think it's utterly hilarious that Cricket Australia, knowing what they did about Payne and that he had this problem with the former staff member at Cricket Tasmania, silly that they made him captain when his chief role was the moral renewal of Australian cricket after the ball tampering fiasco. But on form alone, Carey's been a better keeper than him for 4 years anyway.
Yeah, exactly right. So, yeah, in a roundabout way, I think, frankly, we're a better cricket team as a result. The circumstances aren't ideal, but great to see Alex Carey get his chance. Absolutely deserved. 27 minutes after 7, more on cricket and the wonderful world of sport with Stephen Rowe tonight. Secure your next vehicle now with an instant tax write-off before June 30 at North Point Toyota. We're going to take a break. 5AA News is coming up in just a moment. And then Matt Abraham will join us. Thanks to Mitre 10.
The Care Alert GPS personal alert system. If your loved one suddenly becomes ill, falls or wanders from home and becomes disoriented, you will be instantly notified. You can even be sent a map of where they are. Also available is professional monitoring for just a few dollars a week. Don't pay $700 or even $500. The cost of the Care Alert GPS system is from just $399. Use your My Aged Care or NDIS funding and it could be free. Visit carealert.com.au.
G'day, Scotty Cam here. Christmas is right around the corner. And if you're stuck for last-minute gift ideas, a Mitre 10 gift card is the gift that keeps on giving. There's something for the whole family at your local Mitre 10. From pots and plants to car accessories and tools. So head to your local Mitre 10 store and treat your loved ones to a mighty helpful Mitre 10 gift card so they can get what they really want. That's mighty helpful Mitre 10.
Samtas Seafoods, they've got what you want. Premium quality Australian seafood for Christmas and all summer long.
Oh, I love going to Samtas. I was only in there a couple of Saturdays ago with the kids. We stocked up on some beautiful fresh blue swimmer crabs, cooked them up and made crab pasta. You can let yourself go totally berserk at Sam Tass, and look, you won't miss out because they've got the best quality and best prices on all fresh and frozen Australian seafood.
And with a big focus on prawns and crayfish this year, Sam Tass is the place to go. Pick up South Australian large Cook King prawns, just $29.99 a kilo, or 3 kilos for $79.99. And South Australian cooked crayfish from $75.99 a kilo, from $75.99 a kilo. How about that? That's an amazing price for crayfish. And remember, it's all cooked on site at Sam Tass.
Yeah, it's an amazing price for everything there, and they've got those fantastic bulk deals. Sam Tass Seafood, factory direct at Richmond Road, Richmond, open every day until Christmas.
Get to Sam Tass Seafoods this Christmas, home of the famous 4 kilo for $60 deal.
You can do just about anything online. Buy a couch, find the love of your life, enter the cryptocurrency market. But there's one thing so important that you should never do online, and that's your will. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. The sort of thing you just can't do with an online will. Visit donlanlawyers.com.au and organise an appointment today. donlanlawyers.com.au.
When it comes to finding the best workmate for your business, Toyota Forklifts take the crown. And right now it's our ultimate year-end event. Buy any new Toyota material handling forklift, including pallet jacks, stackers, or market-leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts, and you could win one of 2 new Toyota Hilux workmates. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au and become workmates with the world's #1 forklift brand. T's and C's apply. SA licence number T21/1273.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy, 24 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra hands-on physio at 6 locations. Even more convenient now with online bookings at physioextra.com.
A high school reunion in the eastern suburbs over the weekend is in the COVID spotlight. Former Premier Jay Weatherill was at the event in Norwood on Saturday and tested positive last night. It's one of several cases linked to the get-together. Mr Weatherill's itinerary since then has included a visit to 5AA and lunch with the current Labor leader. Peter Malinauskas received a negative test result early this morning. There are large queues forming at testing sites across Adelaide. Angie works at the Victoria Park site. She's told David and Will they work as fast as they can.
Have a bit of patience, and we try to get everybody through as hard as we can. And most people are really, really good with us. You know, they understand. But the staff are just amazing out there in the conditions, you know, in the sort of heat. If you think it's hot on the outside, just try working in the tent in all those PPEs and you're in them for hours on end.
The World Health Organisation has given an update on the new COVID strain Omicron. Nine's Europe correspondent Brett McLeod reports.
The global health body says while a more complete picture will take some days, there is some suggestion Omicron is more transmissible than Delta. But they say it's too soon to tell if it's more severe, with reports of cases ranging from mild to severe. The WHO says Omicron has now been reported in 23 countries and blanket travel bans won't prevent its spread, adding there is already a highly transmissible, dangerous variant called Delta, and there's no stopping Omicron without stopping it.
South Australians who have to work on Christmas Day will miss out on penalty rates. An attempt to get December 25 declared a public holiday has failed. Josh Peake from the Shop Workers Union says it's extremely disappointing.
To think that people will be missing out on their kids opening presents on Christmas morning or missing out on Christmas lunch for that sacrifice, won't be earning the Christmas Day penalty rates they usually get, I think indicates to us all that this government really has its priorities completely wrong.
Actor Alec Baldwin has given his first in-depth interview about that fatal shooting on a movie set. Nine's US correspondent Alison Petrowski reports.
In an interview that will be broadcast tomorrow evening, the actor breaks down on camera and denies allegations that he physically pulled the trigger.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never.
Baldwin says he wants to know how live ammunition got onto the movie set in the first place.
Someone put a live bullet in a gun, a bullet that wasn't even supposed to be on the property.
New Mexico police have obtained a search warrant for an Albuquerque prop store where some of the rounds used on the set are believed to have been supplied.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Win one of 2 holiday homes. Visit stjohnlottery.com.au before midnight Sunday.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Australia's preparations for next week's first Ashes test continue to be restricted by rainfall in Brisbane. A handful of players will attend an optional gym session this morning, but there will be no on-field training. The Women's Tennis Association has announced it is immediately suspending tournaments in China. There are questions about the safety of Chinese tennis player Peng Shuai, who has disappeared from public view after she made allegations of sexual assault against a top Chinese government official. Meantime, the Davis Cup quarter-final tie between Serbia and Kazakhstan has gone into a deciding doubles rubber. That's after Novak Djokovic won his singles match in straight sets to square the tie at 1-1. To soccer, Adelaide City has fallen agonisingly short in its FFA Cup clash against Melbourne Victory, conceding a penalty deep into injury time as the Victory claimed the win to move into the round of 16.
It's a tough angle from here. Laurie Latanzio to win it. Potentially, it's a penalty to Melbourne Victory. And 2 weeks in a row, Anthony Laban with the winner.
Audio there thanks to Channel 10. Now that result means Adelaide United is the only team from SA left in the competition. Meantime, in overseas action, Liverpool is 2-1 up against Everton. Manchester City leads Aston Villa 1-0. West Ham is also 1-0 up against Brighton. Watford and Chelsea are locked at 1-1. Leicester has just levelled things up at 2-2 against Southampton, while it's still 0-0 between Wolverhampton and Burnley. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
The Glenelg BMW opening sale event is on now. Exceptional opportunities across the range. Visit Glenelg BMW today.
At Theberton got a smash on Port Road near Phillip Street. Mitcham got a hole in the road, Fullerton Road near Carrickhill Drive. It's going to cause a few delays for the drive in. Leave early if you must head that way. And Henley Beach Military Road is closed for works. That's between Henley Beach Road and Main Street. Got a few detours in place there. Cameras, Barcelona Road, Noarlunga Downs, Flaxmill Road, Christie's Downs and Grand Boulevard at Seaford Rise. At Pet Barn, get up to 40% off selected dog and cat, flea, tick and worm prevention in their Ditch the Itch sale. Conditions apply. Ends December 6. Pet Barn. Life's a treat. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
Heading for a top of 24 for your Thursday and partly cloudy tomorrow 24 and the same again on Saturday. Right now it's 20 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
24 minutes to 8. John Blake coming up before 8 o'clock. Then after 8 this morning, we had a chat with Peter Malinauskas. He went and got in early last night, got his test, got his results back. So his lunch with the former Premier has not had an impact. He is negative, so he's in the clear. The rest of us here at 5AA are still waiting on our results. David's going to get tested a little bit later in the morning. But we'll chat with Peter Malinauskas after 8:30 to talk about how he's getting on. Interesting stories for us ahead in the morning wrap as well, including a big decision by world tennis authorities regarding tournaments in China and Hong Kong going forward. We'll get into that a little later too. It's time from a remote location, not in the studio, to talk political spin with Matt Abraham, thanks to Mighty Helpful Mitre 10, quality brands at great prices. They got Christmas sorted for the whole family this year. That's Mighty Helpful Mitre 10. Morning to you, Matt.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David.
Is it?
Well, I've often told you to, and with the exception of Kate, of course, that politicians make you sick.
You know what? I should just say, Matt, I think David's just dropped out. So it's just us. So we can say whatever we want about him.
That's fine.
So yeah, I could see him on a video stream desperately trying to fix the problem, and the man is a fish out of water on technical issues. So
he can put another 20 cents in the meter. I think he needs.
I think so. I think he's rooting around for a court at the moment.
Yeah. Actually,
yeah.
What you guys are going through and what the team at 5AA is going through is exactly what Business SA and the business community was worried about. It's exactly the concern that people have had as we've opened our borders, and uncertainty about how we go about approaching sort of not having a statewide lockdown, but having, basically sort of sporadic little mini lockdowns and mini quarantines, and the disruption that causes to the business. And it's almost a classic example of what the team's going through there. Now, hoping when David gets around to getting his test, he'll be fine, you're fine. But it just shows that, a single individual coming in, and you have these ripple effects and a lot of uncertainty generated as a result of it.
Certainly brought home last night for us in our household, because I've got my wife, obviously, and my brother who works in a role where he's dealing with people all the time. And it was after 8 o'clock last night when we got official confirmation. So there's no phone line to call, and suddenly you try to work through the intricacies of the SA Health matrix. And it's one thing to do it as a purely academic exercise for the purpose of talking about it on air, but suddenly when you've got to live it, it doesn't get any less complex, Matt, I can tell you. The whole process, and then you imagine what it's like for people who are running a small business, and it's complicated again because they've got even more pages and matrices to have to work through. It's still not, post-November 23, it doesn't still feel like the sort of streamlined living with COVID reality that I suspect most people imagined it at least should endeavour to be.
Exactly. And, here I am. You're both working from home. Here I am on the back veranda. And I was just thinking this morning, this is almost like where we started almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We've had 2 years of this. We've had a very long periods in South Australia of safety with no cases. We've opened our borders, and it's almost like the reward is we're back where we started. The big difference, of course, the huge difference is there's a vaccine now, and 80% of South Australians are fully vaccinated, and I think we're tracking to 90% by Christmas. That's a huge difference. But putting that aside, in terms of disruption to daily life, it's almost like there's no difference.
Yeah, it does. It feels eerily similar. I think we've got David back connected now. David, we've got a little guest on called Matt Abraham.
Where are you, Matt? Are you in a secret bunker in the inner south as well?
No. I'm sitting on the back veranda.
I thought you might be out in a tinny in the middle of the Gulf on a day like today, mate.
Well, I think it's the safest place. We're just saying, while you were grappling, putting money back in your meter there at home, David, that here I am on the back veranda. You two are sort of isolating at home, and it's almost feels, putting aside that everybody's double vaxxed or you're all double vaxxed, that we're back where we started 18 months ago. Not in terms of sickness, I think, but in terms of uncertainty and chaos in people's everyday lives.
Matt, we might be facing 7 days of quarantine. Vicky Chapman's facing a sort of political quarantine, isn't she? She's been suspended from six sitting days. How have you seen it play out over the last week since we last caught up? And I guess more importantly, how functionable is this government now with its incredibly, well, it's a minority by a mile now.
It is. It's we've got a 47-seat House of Assembly, and you've got a government with 21. Holding 21 seats in its own right. And I would think, even though we've had quite a few minority governments in South Australia compared to other states, I would think that's some sort of record. Being down to 21 seats in a 47-seat House, it'd be like the Crows going into a grand final with sort of 3 or 4 players out. It's difficult. And I think it's incredibly disruptive for the government and distracting for the government. And I don't think, just looking at the way Vicky Chapman exited, I don't think she did it with good grace. There was a sourness there. Now that's fair enough. She feels she's been done over, set up and done over. But the fact is that a majority of her peers from Labor and a couple of Liberal former Liberal MPs, have made judgment on her in the House. And that's a pretty serious thing. And she's effectively out until the election campaign, because 6 sitting days doesn't sound a lot, but it's really, that's the number of sitting days left before Parliament expires, and we're into an election campaign. So, it's a difficult time for the government, and it's really hard. And I know we're still in just at the start of December, so there's still 4 months, just under 4 months of the election. But it's really hard to see Stephen Marshall's team sort of getting itself into a fighting position for the election. I'm sure they will, but it's going to be, quite an effort for them. And it's, you just got to keep going back and looking at the numbers, and it's going to be very tough for them to win majority government again.
Matt, what's your take on the politics of the borders reopening? It's been one of those issues where the opposition has tried to frame it around, well, is the hospital system ready? But in a bigger picture sense, they've gone along by and large with all of the health advice, all of the emergency rulings that have been made by the police commissioner. But we're now starting to see locally acquired cases. I just saw a text, and I won't read out the number on air because it might not be true, but it's from someone who's reasonably plugged in, saying that they've heard that there are now more positive cases linked to this get-together in Norwood. So we'll be obviously paying close attention to that as the details firm up. But do you think that there's any risk of a political backlash against the Premier over opening up the borders? Or conversely, do you think that most people's view, and I have to admit this is my view, will be more philosophical about it and say, well, the vax rate's high enough, we have to get back to normal life, we are one country, and inevitably there will be some cases?
Well, I think from here on in, David and Will, I think it depends how the government handles it. And this is something we said last week. This is really the test now for SA Health. There's a really interesting first-person piece in the Advertiser today. It's really worth getting the paper and reading it, by journalist Anna Koch and her family, who have come back to South Australia, have done all the right things, because really they've fallen through a black hole with SA Health. They were able to leave the airport. They've had their tests done. They're all vaccinated, and they've been running their own quarantine because and have had the app on their phone, or tried to get the health app, the SA Health app that enables people, the health check app. It hasn't worked, and there's huge confusion about the situation. And last week, in Breaking at 8, you brought us a story of Dale West's family who were banged up in quarantine. Even though if they got in their car, driven to the border and come back, they wouldn't have had to be in quarantine. Well, they've still got quarantine officers calling them and turning up, even though they've had clearance from SA Health to go about their own way. I think they're thinking of inviting him to Christmas lunch, get bonbons and paper hat. He obviously likes the family or something.
Oh, yeah. Seems that way. All right, let's get to the spin of the week.
Well, now this is a Queensland mayor who's I think it's Gold Coast mayor who's giving us his take on the new Omicron threat.
So Omicron, don't know much about it. Sound a bit like a camera, but that's all right.
There you go.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong.
I keep thinking.
I wish it was just a camera.
Kodachrome. This is the secret, isn't it? From now on, we don't use the Greek alphabet for the variants. We start using like Pentax, Nikon, Canon,
the Kodak,
and everyone's cool with that. It's fine. I'm giving him 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. It's a very deserved 2 out of 10. What did the poor old people of Greece do to deserve to be inextricably linked to the naming of diseases? Why pick on the Greek alphabet? There's plenty of other alphabets out there. The Cyrillic alphabet. Why not just use the Anglo alphabet?
Exactly. We could work our way through it like Sesame Street.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Matt, thank you.
It's a pleasure, and I hope you're all back and functioning safely in the studio as soon as possible.
Yeah, so do we. Appreciate it. Your local Mitre 10 has Christmas sorted with gift ideas for the whole family. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10. Let's check traffic now, thanks to Glenelg BMW. Their opening sale event is on now. Exceptional opportunities across the range. Visit Glenelg BMW today.
At Mitcham, got a hole in the road, Fullerton Road near Carrick-Hill Drive. That's going to cause delays on the drive-in. Head early if you must head that way. Henley Beach, Military Road is closed for works. That's between Henley Beach Road and Main Street. Beulah Park, works causing delays in Portrush Road and McGill Road. Pretty slow going at the moment. And Dry Creek, look out for asphalt works causing delays on the Salisbury Highway. Cameras today too. Murray Road, Wollaston, Southern Expressway, O'Halloran Hill. Get 12 months free roadside assistance when you get your car serviced at Australia's #1 car service company, UltraTune. Search UltraTune to find a service centre near you. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The state government is moving ahead, modernising our state and creating thousands of jobs with its record $17.9 billion investment in infrastructure by providing better access to hospitals and healthcare closer to home, giving our children the world-class education they deserve, making roads safer and getting you home quicker, and improving nature-based experiences with our national parks and reservoirs. We're building what matters for all South Australians. Find out more at sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
In parts of Norway, it's not uncommon for homeowners to find a polar bear in their driveway. And in Adelaide, polar bear sightings are on the rise thanks to Polar Air Heating and Cooling. The only bear you'll see is on the side of our vans. For a home as cool as a Norwegian chalet, call Polar Air Heating and Cooling for professional and prompt installation. Polar Air Heating and Cooling. When your lair is unbearable. polarairhc.com.au.
Every year, families all over Adelaide enjoy the festive season with Chanellas because Chanellas makes it so easy to entertain guests.
With Chanellas, there's no running around. They'll do it all for you. Just jump online and place your order, and look, that's it. Step one, jump online. Step two, place order.
Exactly. It's an absolute piece of cake or a piece of tiramisu, as the good people at Chanellas might say. Everybody knows that Chanellas are the masters of platters. They're could take a while to get through them all. Hot or cold, grazing boxes, arancini platters, schnitzel platters, cheese platters, fruit platters, so much more, including continental cakes, cannoli, tiramisu, zeppole, the list goes on. Make sure you order before December the 20th so that you don't miss out, and it's easy to do online.
And remember, with Chanellas, everything is lovingly made in-house from scratch by their chefs and patisserie chefs. So get your Christmas order in now. Call into 62 Prospect Road, Prospect, or go online at chanellasmarket.com.au. That's chanellasmarket.com.au. Chanellas, best and fresh. It's a way of life this Christmas.
Don't just get any old mattress and cross your fingers. There's only one award-winning Sleeping Duck mattress that Australia loves and comes with a system to get the comfort perfect for you in your very own home. Get it perfect at sleepingduck.com.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube.
Give me a head with hair.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8 to 8, just having a peek outside at the moment. Looks like it's just a magnificent day on the way. They're all beautiful at the moment. It's just a wonderful time of year in Adelaide. And Jessica Braithwaite from 9 News has all the specifics for us on what's coming up over the course of the next couple of days. Jessica, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. Hopefully you can soak it up in your backyard. 24 degrees today. We've got partly cloudy. Sorry, I just was like, should I rub it in or not? No.
Yeah, no, go for it. Rub it in.
Well, I'm heading down to the beach today. No. So 24 degrees,
yeah, okay.
Lovely conditions today. Looking nice and dry. And look, it's one of those forecasts where you go, oh, it's a pretty boring forecast because there's not much happening, but it's good boring. Like, there's not much happening. There's just lots of sunshine. Friday, 24 degrees and partly cloudy. Again, Saturday, 24 degrees and partly cloudy. Starting to warm up a little bit from Sunday. So Sunday we jump up to 28 degrees, lots of sun again. Monday a little bit warmer, 31 degrees. Tuesday dipping back down to 25, but still no showers or anything around. And Wednesday partly cloudy and 22. And because we've had all that rain through November, so we're not looking too dry at the moment either. So yeah, it's just nice to soak up that sun.
7 minutes to 8. Lots of thank you for that, Jessica. Jessica Braithwaite from 9 News. Lots of text still coming through on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line. Some are in this vein from Richard, who says, why don't we open borders after Christmas so we could have at least had a normal Christmas? Well, I guess the people that were hoping to see loved ones wouldn't have had a normal Christmas. There's no way we can seem to please everyone. And keep those texts coming in, 0448 08 1395.
So, Will, can I ask you? This might, I'm sure it will be a subject we discuss with our wonderful managers later in the day. But are we clear as to whether, when we get a negative test, if we get a negative test, are we free to go, or because we had Jay in the studio, do we still have to isolate for 7 days?
Well, this is the bizarre. My understanding, my reading of it, is last night we still have to quarantine for 7 days. Now, the people we live with,
but who's told us
don't.
That?
They just need to. Well, that's my reading of the SA Health Matrix. But no one's told us anything. No, you're right. There's been no official. I mean, we kind of got in ahead of it in terms of what normal people, I guess, would find out because the positive case texted us directly and told us. So when I went to Victoria Park last night, they said, "Well, what hotspot were you at?" And I said, I started explaining. They're going, "Well, what?" I'm like, no, it hasn't been registered as a hotspot yet, but I know the guy, he's got COVID and he texted us and said he's got it. So, it is weird. We're sort of ahead of it. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. But I think you're trying to see if we're going to have to do this for another 7 days.
It's good that the nurse at the racecourse took you on face value, because I reckon there's a half a chance that if you turn up in the middle of the night at a COVID testing clinic saying, the former Premier Jay Weatherall's given me the coronavirus, they might actually take you instead to Glenside.
I think they had a little private sidebar about that. What is this guy doing these compass benders?
Yeah. We got a live one here.
Yeah, exactly right.
The Premier's
all right,
giving him COVID.
I think he kind of gave me the side eye, like, all right, who is this guy? All right, let's give it to John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight Distribution Warehousing and local Adelaide Couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
Welcome to Mastermind. Could we have our first contestant, please? Your name is David Penberthy, your occupation journalist and broadcaster.
Far out.
Your special subject, being a journalist, is everything. And your time starts now. Why did you become a journalist instead of a chef?
Because I can't make dessert.
Correct.
Most people want, scoop of ice cream.
Yes, thank you.
Far out.
What is your favourite expression?
Far out.
Correct. What expression are you tired of hearing broadcasters use?
Good morning, listeners.
Correct. Do you believe in checkbook journalism or bribery?
You didn't take my $5, did you?
Correct, I didn't. What would you say to an advancing horde of ravenous zombies about to eat you?
Come on, folks.
Incorrect. You'd be more inclined to say something like...
Far out.
Correct.
Can't win.
Yes. Name a famous Australian comedian.
Roy Rehn.
Yes, we'll pay that. It's actually Roy Rehn.
Sean McAuliffe.
No, it's not McAuliffe.
McAuliffe, rather.
No, you're digging yourself deeper there. It's McAuliffe.
You pampered Eastern Suburbs idiot.
I didn't write the questions and I live in Prospect. What is South Australia's greatest natural disaster?
The Adelaide Crows lost the AFL Grand Final to Richmond.
Correct. Why did you get into broadcasting?
Mainly I was in it for the food.
No, that's incorrect. It's usually pizza or sandwiches, so why would you?
It's just a joke.
Correct. Can you give us an example of an accent you'd rather use than the one you've got?
Maybe you were thinking about going to Peppa Pig World. I would urge everybody to go to Peppa Pig World.
I'm assuming the answer is yes. Very good. And after round one, you have 9 correct answers. Join us again next time on Mastermind. So, who's your favourite race car driver?
Juan Fangio.
I think it's Fangio.
I'll take
That's just
9
been
out of
updated. Yeah, that was a
9
solid
out of 10,
effort.
That's good. High distinction.
Yeah.
Thank you, Blakey.
3 minutes 3 minutes to 8, 5AA News is on the way. We'll get more from John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors. Our wrap of the developing stories of the morning after 8 as well. And also the State Labor leader, Peter Malinauskas, who got the good news last night. His test was negative, but we'll talk to him about what it means for those in his immediate circle a little bit later in the morning.
Hey, it's Callum here. When it comes to servicing your family's vehicles, Edwardstown Mazda's 1 hour quick smart service is definitely the way to go, especially for busy people. And who isn't busy nowadays? Edwardstown Mazda's 1 hour express service.
Hey Jared, we're out of beer.
Oh yeah, no dramas. I'll head out now. Perfect timing. Sip and Save has Cooper's Pale Ale 24 packs for $48.99 or a 30 pack of West End Draft for $49.99. And you have a chance of winning $2,500 a day when you buy any beer from the current catalogue. Cha-ching!
Spoil yourself this Christmas when you start at Sip and Save.
Catalogue specials out now at sipandsave.com.au. Prices may vary in country areas. T's and C's apply.
Now, if you haven't dropped any hints about what you'd like for Christmas, now's the time to start. In fact, Tuesday night was the time it started for me when Mum and Dad were here for dinner, which is the reason they can't go can't go out of the house today till they get tested, but we'll leave that to one side. I said to Mum, just make life easy. Please give me a Mitre 10 voucher, to which she said, absolutely, dear, I will. Just weave Mitre 10 like I did so seamlessly into your conversation. Something as simple as, gee, Mitre 10, they've got heaps of stuff for Christmas.
Which is absolutely right. Mitre 10 of everything from plants and pots to car accessories, outdoor furniture, barbecues, even fun things for the kids, even kids in their 50s.
That's right. And look, one perfect gift is the gift that keeps on giving. A Mitre 10 gift card makes for a fantastic last-minute stocking stuffer too, because whoever you give it to, they can choose exactly what they want from Mitre 10. You can't go wrong.
Get Christmas sorted now with help from your local mighty helpful Mitre 10.
At Giant Bicycles, we believe in following your own route, wherever it may lead. With stable flat bar positioning, front suspension and disc brakes, the Roam disc from Giant Bicycles handles all types of terrain and conditions, meaning you can head off on new adventures whenever and wherever you like. All Giant Bicycles feature latest technology, come professionally assembled with a lifetime warranty. Available online now via Click and Collect. Learn more at giant-bicycles.com.au.
9 News is the one that's always been live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
Online, on DAB digital radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy, 24 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra Marion have a hydrotherapy pool now on site. Contact Physio Extra Marion or head to physioextra.com.
Just over a week after reopening the borders, SA is now dealing with community transmission of COVID. Multiple cases have been linked to a school reunion at Norwood on the weekend. It took place on Saturday, and former Premier Jay Weatherall, who was there, has now tested positive. He's working with contact tracers to map his movements, which included a visit to 5AA. He had lunch with Peter Malinauskas on Monday. The opposition leader received a negative test result this morning. Several other MPs have also been tested. Ocean View College at Taparoo will be closed today after a member of the school community tested positive. Full details on all the sites and times are on the SA Health website. Large queues are being reported at testing stations across Adelaide this morning. The advice is to be patient. The first US case of the new Omicron COVID variant has been detected in California. Meantime, staying on top of the Delta COVID variant could be the key to dealing with Omicron. That's according to the World Health Organization, as its top doctors assess exactly how transmissible and severe the new variant is. Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says some countries have become too complacent.
Globally, we have a toxic mix of low vaccine coverage and very low testing, a recipe for breeding and amplifying variants.
4 people have been arrested after a terrifying carjacking yesterday. A woman had just parked her Range Rover station wagon at her home in Clemzig when she was approached by a man armed with a knife. He was accompanied by another man who stole property from the woman's home, including a green Holden ute. Senior Constable Matt Brown says the woman and her 2 young children weren't hurt.
The victim and her children got out of the car and the suspect drove off in the station wagon while the other suspect drove off in the ute. Now, the woman and her children were not injured, but just before 5 a.m. today, witnesses reported seeing the green ute being parked in Oratanga Road out at Modbury North. The suspect covered the ute with a tarp before joining 3 other suspects in the stolen Range Rover, which was nearby.
A chase followed before the stolen car collided with a police car at Salisbury North. 4 people, including a 15-year-old boy, have been arrested and charged with numerous offences. They're expected to face court today. A police officer suffered minor injuries in the crash. More than 100 essential health workers from Adelaide hospitals will walk off the job today. It's amid concerns about understaffing. Workers at Flinders, the Repat and Noarlunga will protest at 2:30 this afternoon. SA will be the only state in the country where Christmas Day is not a public holiday. A bill that would have declared December 25 a public holiday has failed to get up in state parliament. Josh Peake from the Shop Workers Union says thousands of workers will miss out on penalty rates.
It's about $170 for someone on an 8-hour shift in terms of lost penalty rates, and then a lost day's pay for a retail worker around about $150 to $200, which is pretty significant.
Senior Liberals won't be drawn on their re-election chances, with 10 federal government MPs calling time on their political career. Health Minister Greg Hunt and former Attorney General Christian Porter are the latest MPs to retire. Opinion polls show the coalition is consistently lagging behind Labor, but Treasurer Josh Frydenberg maintains only the coalition can manage Australia's economic recovery.
Unemployment is lower than when we came to government, and the Reserve Bank and leading economists and Treasury are all predicting a very strong economic recovery. That augurs well for the future, and that's our track record.
There's a new development in the fatal shooting on the Alec Baldwin movie set back in October. Cinematographer Helena Hutchins was killed on set. The actor has sit down for his first face-to-face interview on the tragedy and says he didn't pull the trigger. A preview of the interview has been released. It will air on US TV later this week.
Even now, I find it hard to believe that. It just doesn't seem real to me.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Win one of 2 holiday homes. Visit stjohnlottery.com.au before midnight Sunday.
Here's Tom Rehn.
Thank you, Mel. Let's start with cricket. Australia and England are continuing to have their Ashes preparations disrupted by rain in Brisbane. The Aussies are holding an optional gym session this morning but won't be on the field for training. English spinner Jack Leach says their fast bowlers will be licking their lips at the prospect of a green top at the Gabba.
Some guy came out afterwards and started saying, "Hey guys, I just want to wish you the worst of luck at the Gabba. It's going to be a green seamer at the Gabba." And I was thinking, I'm not sure that's the best sledge to 2 of the greatest bowlers that England have ever had.
The Women's Tennis Association has carried through with the threat to suspend its tournaments in China over concerns for Chinese tennis player Peng Shuai. The suspension also applies to Hong Kong. To soccer, Adelaide City's been knocked out of the FFA Cup after going down to the Melbourne Victory 1-0 overnight. Meantime, the Central Coast Mariners and Melbourne City have defeated lower league opposition to move into the quarter-finals of the FFA Cup. And there's about half hour to play between Everton and Liverpool in the EPL, with Liverpool currently leading 2-1. Manchester City also 2-1 up against Aston Villa, while it's 1-1 between Watford and Chelsea. Drivers will hit the track at Mount Panorama for the first time today in the lead-up to Sunday's Bathurst 1000. Jamie Whincup will be looking for a fairy tale finish to his full-time driving career when he teams up with Craig Lowndes. The Adelaide 36ers will train in Perth today ahead of tomorrow night's season opener against the Perth Wildcats. Meantime, in the NBA, the Phoenix Suns have equalled their best ever run of 17 straight wins. That's after beating the red-hot Golden State Warriors by 8. Meantime, Aussie Paddy Mills scored 10 points as his Brooklyn Nets just edged past the New York Knicks 112 to 110. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
The Glenelg BMW opening sale event is on now. Exceptional opportunities across the range. Visit Glenelg BMW today.
Clapham got a manhole cover that's come adrift, leaving a big hole on Springbank Road. Take it slow there. Mitcham got a hole in the road, Fullerton Road near Carrickhill Drive. Henley Beach, Military Road is closed for works. That's between Henley Beach Road and Main Street. Detours in place. And Dry Creek, look out for asphalt works causing delays. It's on the Salisbury Highway near Port Wakefield Road. If you or a loved one are impacted by cancer, call Cancer Council on 13 11 20 for free confidential information and support, or search cancersa.org.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
24 for your Thursday, partly cloudy today, partly cloudy tomorrow 24, and partly cloudy Saturday 24. Right now it's 20 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
It's 8 minutes after 8. Breaking at 8 is coming up in just a moment. Then we'll take you through some of the developing stories of the morning. That includes the Operation Southern announced by SAPOL yesterday. You'll hear Matt Brown explain in detail what that will mean and the nature of that ongoing investigation. We'll talk about Crowded House, first concert in 12 years, bring up to speed on the vaccine data, and of course Fuel Watch coming up very, very shortly. Now, David, on an issue related to this program, just got results back from SA Pathology. I do not have a positive test. It's a negative test. So
fantastic.
That's the day one. That's the day one result. Still got to obviously do the quarantine, and there'll be a day 6 test, and so hopefully nothing materialises over that point in time. But as of right this moment, in the last 60 seconds, just got a text through from SA Pathology, negative test, having gone there last night. And again, what a wonderful job these people at Victoria Park and all the different testing centres do. I went there and I got in at after 11 last night, and here we are at 8:09, and I've got a result.
Well, that's good. That's good news, mate, and never in doubt. Although, given the amount of time we did spend in the fairly intimate studio with the Premier, you can't be careful. But I guess all that remains to be seen now. Obviously, Andy and Lisa are getting tests done as well. But I'll head out after the show and brave the queues. I'm not sure if we'll go to the Repat or Victoria Park, but remains to be seen whether I'm the 5AA outbreak style carrier monkey. But hopefully, I'm in the clear too.
I'm sure you'll be clear. Lucy too has just got her result through, so she's negative as well. So that's some good news. That's excellent news.
I love,
she's pretty
Lucy's,
happy about it too.
For the benefit of those not watching on Microsoft Teams, Lucy's currently punching the air, doing a dance. I'm not sure if dancing's legal, Luce, in South Australia.
Yeah, imagine the delight of everyone. Imagine the delight of everyone she played netball with and against at that news as well. So they'll be very excited to hear that. All right, at 8:10, it's time for Breaking at 8.
Well, listeners will recall the Breaking at 8 we did last week about the world's lamest disco, that 90s show that was held at the Peter Lehman Winery last weekend. This was the event where, even though it was aimed at a crowd of consenting adults, 2,500 of them in an area of about 7,500 square metres, so one person every 3 square metres, twice the legally mandated limits that exist in normal hospitality venues that are indoors. This is the event where they brought in mandatory 20-minute timeouts in the event that people started dancing. There were also absurd changes made to the lineup where the DJs that were meant to be headlining ended up opening the show when it kicked off mid-afternoon, and then the acoustic sets played into the night, meaning that when people were, a few drinks in, no one would succumb to the temptation to dance. I had a long and pretty depressing conversation with a bloke called Sam Rose, who him and his wife run Boo Entertainment, which is the company that staged the event. Now, Sam's basically had a total gutful of trying to organise events here in South Australia. He said that the entire night last week was a total pain in the backside, that the organisers were being hassled about people who were standing holding their drinks even while they were clearly walking back to what were called their social groups, back to their picnic rugs. Other guests were being admonished for jiggling their legs, looking like they were sort of performing manoeuvres which suggested an intention to dance. And then at about 10 o'clock, a SA Health official came over and said to the security staff that they had to go around the venue one by one and open every lid on the 80 blue Sulo bins that were dotted across the winery, because they said that the handles on the bins were multiple touch points for the coronavirus as people opened and closed them to throw away cups and plates. Now, Sam's written to SA Health saying this: I do not run events, I run a business. This business pays my mortgage, it feeds my family. This may not seem that important to SA Health. However, the success of my company means everything to Amy and myself. We have now cancelled an event which was scheduled for March next year in McLaren Vale. I'm not wanting to put Amy or myself through this stress again. Instead, we'll be going to Siramet Wines in Brisbane, Hope Estate in the Hunter Valley, and Rochford Wines in the Yarra Valley. I'm not planning any events in South Australia until the system is improved. This is a shame, given we've run multiple large-scale events in SA over the last 7 years, and this is our hometown. So there you go, a South Australian business that's been employed in nothing other than the pursuit of good times on account of the turbocharged pedantry of SA Health in managing what was always an eminently safe and manageable event, has decided to pull up stumps and isn't going to be running any of his operations in his hometown anymore.
13 minutes after 8, let's wrap some of the developing stories of the morning, and we'll start with the huge announcement yesterday from SAPOL about Task Force Southern. Matt Brown joined us a little bit earlier in the morning and explained the scope of the task force.
Major Crime Investigation Branch have initiated the formation of the task force to investigate a number of unsolved murders in the southern area of Adelaide. So there's 3 murders in particular where the victims and the alleged suspects are all believed to have been associated with local methamphetamine and crime scenes across the southern suburbs of Adelaide. And those alleged to have been murdered are Robert Atkins, Trevor King and Jeff Mundy. Now, Robert Atkins' murders obviously received a bit of attention in the media of late. And in 2020, he was alleged to have been held captive for about a week before being forced to commit crimes for his captors. Now, we did release CCTV footage of Robert on our Facebook page, so get on there and check it out. And it's where he's seen to be in the presence of another man, where he buys items from a store, and both are seen then leaving the store together. So we believe that he's been murdered within the area of Port Pirie or Boobarao, and his body's been left somewhere near Orroroo. And the car used by the suspects was captured by a safety camera on its way back to Adelaide, which was a black Jeep Cherokee with registration of S556AJE. So we're investigating that one, along with suspected murder of a Trevor King in February 2019 and Jeff Mundy in December 2020. So all the details are on our website, so get on there and check it out. And if you can help us, please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Crowded House have announced their first Australian tour in 12 years, and the good news is, yes, if you're a Crowded House fan, they are coming to Adelaide at the Entertainment Centre on Tuesday, April 5. And being in the Entertainment Centre, that will be a fully vaxxed event.
Yeah, that's right. One of the many venues around town that has said no one's allowed in unless they've been doubly vaccinated. We heard from Gluttony. They're going to be doing that during the Fringe. WOMAD will be doing that over the March long weekend. There's not going to be too many places where you'll be able to see any kind of performance unless you've had 2 jabs.
And a developing story out of the world of sport this morning as well. The World Women's Tennis Association has announced all events in China and Hong Kong will be suspended immediately amid concern for Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai, who, of course, posted accusations about a high-ranking Chinese government official about some attacks he'd made on her, sexual and physical, and then disappeared. And then there was a series of bizarre videos purporting to show that she was doing fine, including a dinner where They mysteriously talked about the day's date about 19 separate occasions in 2 minutes. It's clearly the World Tortoise Authorities are not satisfied, though, so they've cancelled. They threatened to and have now followed through with that, suspending all events in China and Hong Kong. And so there'll be more developments on that story, expect, over the course of the day. Let's talk about the vaccine stats for today. They're creeping up slowly. We're getting very close to that 90% first jab dosage marker here in South Australia. 89.6% now first, so we're going at about 0.2, 0.3 a day. Second is catching up rapidly now. Second doses are up to 81.27%, which is the phenomenon we've seen in the eastern states, whereby the second dose will catch up and get really close as we get up towards that 90 mark. So you hit 90 first and 90 second, hopefully, won't be too far away. Fuel Watch, thanks to the great people at Glenelg BMW, where they've got this excellent opening sale event that's on right now. Exceptional opportunities across the range. Visit Glenelg BMW today. The cheapest petrol in Adelaide, $1.39 Northeast Road in Greenacres. That's 50 cents a litre, cheaper than we saw it in some places last week. Cheap also in the inner north, $1.41 on Main North Road, Blair Athol. Elsewhere, $1.49 on Port Road in Croydon, $1.59 on Kensington Road in Marrickville, and $1.61 Blackwood on Main Road. Glenelg BMW, they also bring us the latest traffic-wise. Again, that excellent event they've got on at the moment is their opening sale event. Glenelg BMW, they were Dave Potter Honda. Same people, same great service, just different cars, and a new opportunity for you to get in and check out the range. Visit Glenelg BMW today.
At Mitcham, got a hole in the road, Fullerton Road near Carrickhill Drive. Henley Beach, Military Road is closed for works. That's between Henley Beach Road and Main Street. Detours in place. And Beulah Park, works causing delays in Port Roche Road at McGill Road. Speeds at 25. Cameras today, Barcelona Road, Noarlunga Downs and Hillier Road at Evanston. From the creators of Moana, experience the joy and wonder of Disney's new animated adventure, Encanto. In cinemas now. Book tickets at disneyencanto.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie Sports Show.
This is Alex's sister. She joins us now. Ash, is he in?
Well, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but the tickets are booked.
How good is that for you, the family? You've been there for his whole journey.
Every single afternoon after school, we're out there throwing balls to him. And if he got out first ball, he'd run to mum.
4 p.m. weekdays.
Oh, the little sookie Lala. So you set him on his course?
Yeah, it was me and Adam.
Rowie Sports Show on 5AA.
What's on your bucket list? Writing a best-selling novel? Sailing around the Bahamas? Flying over the Antarctic? Before you plan a bucket list, plan your will with Donlan Lawyers. A will, power of attorney and advanced care directive speak for you when you can't, ensuring you and your loved ones are taken care of. For wills and estate planning, contact Donlan Lawyers. Visit donlanlawyers.com.au. Put it on your bucket list.
How far would you go for your dream kitchen? And how far would you go to get free installation? How about 15 minutes up the freeway to Balhanna Kitchens by Design? 2. The largest showroom in the Adelaide Hills. Custom build your dream with our award-winning designers and get free installation on your cabinets with laminate benchtops. For a limited time, of course. Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream a reality. balhannakitchens.com.au.
Now, nothing beats a road trip. For some of us, it's been a while since we hit the road, so it's good to know RAA is there for you.
That's right. RAA members can take advantage of the free car advice service line. Let's just say you want to go up north with a caravan. You can call for all the ins and outs of setting yourself up for a safe and easy tow.
And while you're on the line, RAA can check if you've got the right level of road service for your needs. They have exactly what you need for a great road trip too.
That's right. Before you head out on your next road trip to do the fun stuff, let the great people at RAA take care of the car stuff.
Search RAA Motor for more. Terms and conditions apply. Available from RAA.
Shh. Can you hear that? Hang on. Here it comes.
The new Kia Niro has landed. Available as a hybrid, plug-in hybrid and full electric. It's Australia's broadest electric SUV range, and they're all available for immediate delivery. Technology moves fast. Meet 3 ways to catch up. The new Kia Niro electric SUV range. Check with your local Kia dealer for details.
Kia, movement that inspires.
9 News is the one that's always been live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 minutes after 8, Peter Malinauskas is coming up in just a moment. We'll go behind closed doors after 8:30 as well. Remember, you can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line 044808 1395. Lots of lovely messages we've been getting too. We should note we haven't read them all out from people wishing us well and good news. We got half the breakfast crew got good news in the last 10 or so minutes. David's getting a test a little bit later today. Andy will get his back very, very shortly, I'm sure as well. We have a $100 Wohlers gift card to give away. We have been in the news this morning. The live stream, David, was plastered all over the social media last night. You know, it was sort of the 5AA breakfast hotspot at one point in time.
I liked Andy. Andy made the very good point that it's about the only time a TV station has reproduced an image of anyone appearing on the breakfast show without blocking out the 5AA name. So good on him for finally giving us the credit we deserve.
We want to hear from you this morning for the $100 Wohlers gift card about your 5 minutes of fame. When have you been the news story? When was your moment where you got suddenly famous? Do you have one? Were you in the paper? Were you being talked about on social media? Were you on the radio maybe? What was yours? What was your 5 minutes of fame? You win yourself a $100 Wohlers gift card, 8223 0000. Hopefully not too many stories about people being at the centre of a pandemic and an outbreak scare. I think, in fact, let's put a line through them.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think this is one of those counterintuitive competitions because if it's about having your 5 minutes of fame, even the very act of ringing the breakfast show and coming on air is of itself an entry, isn't it? You could just ring. It might be the first time you've ever rung the radio in your whole life, and suddenly you're in the hunt.
That would be an interesting experiment, thinking outside the box. My entry is this call right now. Might be what someone wants to do. If it's a first-time caller, that'd be nice. That'd put you in the box seat to win the $100 Wohlers gift card. 8223 0000 is the number, or you can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line as well. Remembering that we always give priority to the calls when it comes to the $100 Wohlers gift card. While we get those calls up, more thank yous coming through from people on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. Cheryl says, listening to the wine event COVID rules last weekend, I visited someone at a public hospital yesterday and they didn't even want to see my flu vaccine certificate. In fact, my friend had more than 2 visitors yesterday, which apparently is against the rules. How serious are these people? That's a little bit surprising, I would have thought. We'll get us more of your texts shortly. First, we'll take some calls. Nicholas at Morphett Vale, good morning.
Good morning. Now,
what was your moment of fame, Nicholas?
Hang on. Sorry? Is that better?
What was your moment of fame, Nicholas?
I didn't hear that. I didn't understand.
Yep. All right, don't worry, it's not working. Let's go on. Sorry, Nicholas. Maybe it was an infamous moment. I'm not.
That might have been Nicholas's moment of fame.
I think it might become it. Let's go to Woodville North and try again. Greg, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Greg.
Good, mate. What was your moment of fame?
I was on the Just Adelaide's page on Instagram, and I had a nice lock of hair on my back. It was a back ratty. So it was
back ratty?
Yeah, back ratty. About 70,000 likes. So it was quite interesting.
Wow. Okay, thank you, Greg. Thank you. I think we've got another Greg as well. We've got back-to-back Gregs. Greg 2, good morning. No, this is going beautifully. All right, let's move on to Susan at Craigburn Farm. Good morning to you, Susan.
Oh, hi, guys. How you going? I was about 10 years old, and I was on the front page of the Advertiser at the John Martin's Christmas pageant in the city.
Oh, what were you, Susan?
Yeah.
Or were you just a spectator?
Yeah, just a spectator, and then had a photo, and, was on the front page of the Advertiser.
Oh, that's magnificent, Susan. Good on you. 8223 0000 is the number. Maybe should we give Susan the $100 Wohlers gift card? What do you think?
Oh, look, I think Susan from a crowded field stood out like a a beacon of coherence and good taste in what can only be described as one of the most impeccably executed radio segments in the history of broadcasting.
And we wonder why we didn't win an ACRA yesterday.
Can I just say a big thank you to everyone who's texting in saying thanks to us for having a crack, because this is like the triple backflip with Pike combined with the Malachi Crunch pulling this off, and having calls coming through and trying not to trip over the top of each other, particularly with the added difficulty that some of the calls clearly were just beyond incoherent. That made it hard too. So, Susan, by the length of the straight.
Yeah, that was excellent work, Susan. We might have to quarantine call topics for a week as well. 27 minutes after 8, we're going to take a break. 5AA News is coming up behind closed doors, and Peter Malinauskas will join us after 8:30.
So, why go with NRG Solar?
The reason why we became an NRG Solar customer was because primarily we trusted Michael, and we've seen a lot of stuff on the internet about how cheap and nasty some of the goods were and some of the services. And Michael explained to us what NRG Solar did, and it seemed to us the logical way to go. We didn't seek other quotes because we were very trusting of Michael's expertise and that of the implementers of the system.
Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
When it comes to finding the best workmate for your business, Toyota Forklifts take the crown. And right now it's our ultimate year-end event. Buy any new Toyota material handling forklift, including pallet jacks, stackers, or market-leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts, and you could win one of 2 new Toyota Hilux workmates. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au and become workmates with the world's #1 forklift brand. T's and C's apply. SA licence number T21/1273.
Calling all Adelaide Bethlehem Lobsters, fans of ugly Christmas sweaters, and most importantly, lovers of Love Actually. That includes you now, David. I know you got that DVD and you just can't wait to pop it in and give it a rewatch. Following recent sold-out performances across the UK and Australia, Love Actually in concert, featuring Southern Cross Symphony Orchestra, will be bringing the magic to Adelaide this year for the first time, just in time for Christmas.
That's right, Love Actually. It's become one of my all-time favourites, and it's become one of everybody's all-time festive favourites. Now you can experience it with a live orchestra performing the hit soundtrack while the film is on a huge screen at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, and it will be hosted by Adelaide's own Hans.
The tickets will go fast, so book for Love Actually in concert now. It's on Saturday the 18th of December at 7:30.
That's right. Get dressed in your best Christmas outfit and enjoy your love stories like never before.
A Meals on Wheels volunteer has his say.
For me, working at Meals on Wheels, I just love being able to see the clients each day, just see the pleasure of knowing that they've received not just a nourishing meal, but they've seen somebody who wants to chat with them, to make sure that they realise that we do care for them. So I do look forward to each day.
Get behind the wheel and volunteer for Meals on Wheels. Go to mealsonwheelsa.org.au.
It's such an important thing that we do.
Summer cruising is on the horizon with Phil Hoffman Travel and Princess Cruises. New 2023-24 schedules on sale now. Cruise 2 nights to 35 nights to New Zealand, South Pacific, Papua New Guinea or around Australia. Or cruise from Adelaide on board the Grand Princess to Queensland for 18 nights. No flying required from $2,829 per person. Speak to Phil Hoffman Travel. Proudly South Australian and here for you. Visit pht.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy, 24 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra hands-on physio at 6 locations. Even more convenient now with online bookings at physioextra.com.
A high school reunion at Norwood over the weekend is in the spotlight after former Premier Jay Weatherill, who was at the event, has now tested positive for COVID. He received the results last night. He had lunch with the current Labor leader on Monday, but Peter Malinauskas received a negative test result this morning. Parliament has been adjourned today. Business SA is also an exposure site. An infectious man attended a training event on Tuesday night. CEO Martin Hazy says they're working with health authorities.
We were advised by FA Health, and in an abundance of caution, I asked all of my team members to go off and be COVID tested.
Countries are being warned to keep up their COVID vaccination and testing rates as the new variant Omicron continues to spread. Nine's Europe correspondent Brent McLeod has more.
The WHO says blanket travel bans won't stop its spread. While there is some suggestion the variant may be more transmissible than Delta, the organisation says it's too soon to gauge its severity. The briefing came as the head of the European Union said member nations should consider compulsory vaccinations. Greece is financially penalising those who don't get the jab, with Austria and Germany expected to follow.
4 people have been arrested after a pursuit with a stolen car in the northern suburbs. Kendall Brettig reports.
A woman was parking her Range Rover station wagon at her home in Clemzig just after 3 yesterday afternoon when she was approached by a man armed with a knife. He threatened the woman who had her 2 young children in the car. He was accompanied by another man who stole property from her home, including a green Holden ute. The woman and her children got out of the car and the suspect drove off in the station wagon. The other man drove off in the ute. Just before 5 a.m. today, witnesses reported seeing the ute being parked at Modbury North and covered in a tarp. The driver then got into the stolen Range Rover, which drove off. Police pursued the car before it collided with a patrol car at Salisbury North. The police officer suffered minor injuries. The Range Rover was then abandoned and all 4 occupants arrested. The group, aged between 15 and 25, are facing numerous charges, including aggravated robbery, illegal use of a motor vehicle and theft.
The Veterans Affairs Minister says he will always acknowledge the sacrifice and service of Defence Force personnel. A memo has been sent told to stop using the phrase "thank you for your service" in press releases, websites and social media posts. Andrew Gee says he didn't sign off on the memo and he's only ever suggested using a personal approach to expressing the same sentiment.
That phrase can be used when it's appropriate, and I think it's fine to use as long as it has meaning behind it and it's not used as a throwaway line.
Australians planning their Christmas shopping may be impacted by a shortage of iPads, gaming consoles and other consumer electronics. Slow global logistics is partly to blame. Tech expert Charlie Brown says there's also an issue getting access to microprocessors.
Microprocessor is simply the brains of the device, and the car industry decided that they would put more microprocessors into their cars, so the cars became smarter. It's increased the demand, so those factories have less room in their supply chain to make processors for game consoles, laptops, phones, tablets.
Supply isn't expected to improve until the middle of next year. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Win one of 2 holiday homes. Visit stjohnlottery.com.au before midnight Sunday.
With everything cricket, here's Tom Rehn.
Yeah, thank you, Mel. Let's begin there. Sydney is putting its hand up saying it's ready and willing to host another test match if Cricket Australia deems the WA quarantine situation too difficult. Melbourne has been tipped as the likely beneficiary if the Perth test is dropped. If Sydney was chosen, it would mean back-to-back tests in the city, but Venue's New South Wales chairman, Tony Shepherd, doesn't think that would be an issue.
We're basically just saying to cricket, look, if you need us, we're here, and we're happy to have it, and we believe we'd get full capacity crowd because everybody's been starved of cricket for so long and live sport for so long. We've got no restrictions, so we reckon we can sell out 2 tests in Sydney, no worries at all.
It's almost full-time in English Premier League action this morning with Liverpool on the cusp of a big win in the Merseyside derby. The Reds currently leading 4-1 against Everton, while Manchester City is 2-1 up against Aston Villa. It is full-time in all of the other matches, Chelsea taking maximum points in a 2-1 win against Watford. Southampton and Leicester drew 2-2, West Ham and Brighton drew 1-1, while it was 0-0 between Wolverhampton and Burnley. To tennis, the WTA has suspended tournaments in China amid ongoing safety concerns for player Peng Shuai. The ruling also affects matches in Hong Kong. And the Davis Cup quarter-final tie between Serbia and Kazakhstan is going down to the wire. It was locked at 1-1, meaning it's all down to the doubles rubber, and it's currently 1-1 with games on serve early in the deciding set. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
The Glenelg BMW opening sale event is on now. Exceptional opportunities across the range. Visit Glenelg BMW today.
At Mitcham, got a hole in the road, Fullerton Road near Carrickhill Drive. Henley Beach, Military Road is closed for works. That's between Henley Beach Road and Main Street. Dry Creek, look out for asphalt works causing delays on the Salisbury Highway. It's near Port Wakefield Road, pretty slow going at the moment, actually quite heavy. And look out for a couple of cameras, Brody Road, Morford Vale and Hillier Road at Evanston. Want to put more jingle in your Kringle this Christmas? Shop great prices on millions of gifts at amazon.com.au. Get your Christmas on with Amazon. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
24 today, partly cloudy tomorrow 24, Saturday partly cloudy 24. Right now it's 21 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 9. We're going to go behind closed doors very shortly. But first on 5AA Breakfast, it's the State Labor Leader, Peter Malinauskas, who joins us on the line. Leader, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Will. Good morning, Dave. We've got a bit in common this morning.
Well, some of us do. Some of us do. Well, Leader, you and I are negative. David still has a test outstanding. He's going to do it a little bit later today. Hey, how long did you have to wait last night when you went there? I think you went to Victoria Park, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to Vic Park as soon as I heard the news that Jay Weatherall had been tested positive. So I think I got down there I left Parliament around about 20 past 8. And I think I was leaving Vic Park about a couple of hours after that. So, there was a bit of a wait there and a bit of a queue, but, you got to do what you've got to do. And I've got to say, and I think you went to Vic Park as well, Will, I heard earlier this morning, I think. And
I did.
I think all the staff, while there was a wait, you've got to, give credit to all the staff who were clearly under the pump, but also working calmly and methodically and as quickly as they could. So,
yep.
And I was very relieved to get the test results early this morning that I was negative. So, but since then, Annabelle, my wife, she went down and got tested pretty early this morning, about 5:30, and came back from Vic Park and said it was quiet. So since then, I've also taken the kids down this morning and just got back from getting them tested as well.
So, Peter, good news about your result. What's your status in terms of how you're regarded in terms of your contact with Jay? How long were you with him, and does it mean that you have to remain isolated from everyone for 7 days?
So on my reading of it, Dave, I think this is going to turn out to be the most expensive 20-minute coffee I've ever had in my life. So, from my reading of the Matrix, and I've worked through it pretty carefully, although I was only there for 20 minutes and I was outside, because at various points I was probably within 1.5 metres of him, I think I am deemed as a close contact on that Matrix. And as a close contact, that means I've got to isolate for 7 days since that point of contact, which is on Monday, I think, which puts me in isolation at home until Monday next week. So, obviously that's I won't lie, that's, got a degree of inconvenience attached to it. I had a pretty full program on the weekend out and about in the community, but, like I said, everyone's got to do the right thing. This is the world we're now living in, where COVID's in the state, and if you come past it in any way, even as quickly as 20 minutes outside, then you've got to follow the rules and be isolated. So, yeah, I'll just do the right thing and make it work as best as I can and try and work from home. But what I'm trying to work through, if I'm honest with you, I think on my reading of it, my wife can go to work once she gets a negative test result back, which she'll be doing, hopefully as quickly as possible. But with the kids, because my children are young, they're all three of them are 6 and under, they're not eligible for a vaccine. So I'm just trying to work out what the status of them is in terms of going to school once they get a negative test result.
Yeah, we've been having exactly the same conversations at our place this morning with a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, neither of whom can obviously be vaccinated. In terms of Parliament, I was reading the circular, one of the MPs sent it to me this morning, that's been sent around saying that there's no blanket need for anyone to isolate within the Parliament yet, but that the Communicable Diseases Branch has alerted every MP to the fact that some of them have been close contacts of a positive case, which I presume is the former Premier. What is I think it's the last sitting week of the year. Is it totally scrapped now?
I'm still trying to work that out myself, Dave. I think there's a few mixed messages floating around at the moment in the Parliament. It seems to be chaotic. So today was set to be the last sitting day of the year. Obviously, the Marshall government tried to shut down Parliament for 5.5 months in the last sitting week. But today we managed to stave that off. So we are sitting this week, and we were sitting today. I understand an email went out last night saying that Parliament won't resume, and presumably that'll be confirmed this morning. But we'll wait and see. I mean, since then, I've had a negative test result. Susan Close, who she walked past on North Terrace and saw Jay and I were having coffee and stopped and had chatted. So she's had a test as well, and I think she's waiting her result. So whether or not any negative test results changes the equation, time will tell. But like I said, this is all too real now for so many South Australians. I mean, Jay went to as I think you've covered, a high school reunion, and it all started from there. So it just shows how quickly this can affect anybody's life, and people got to remain vigilant. And of course, the best thing we can do is be vaccinated. I'm certainly glad I am now that I've come across someone who's got COVID.
Absolutely. Are you aware of any other positive cases as a result of any of the meetings or catch-ups that the former Premier had?
No, I'm not. I'm aware of a number of people that have come across Jay who have found out they're negative, which is great news. So I'm not aware of any other positive cases, only negative cases. So hopefully that's a trend that continues. Jay, I understand, was double vaccinated. So, the science tells us, despite the fact he was vaccinated and getting COVID while he was vaccinated, the vaccination mitigates the likelihood of him transmitting the disease. So hopefully the vaccination is doing its trick. But time will only tell, and everyone's just got to do the right thing. This is a brave new world we've now got here in South Australia, and everyone's got to remain vigilant.
Politically, do you think it was the right decision to open the borders the way the government has?
Oh, look, it's a good question, Dave. I mean, I don't have access to the advice and the information that the Premier does. But look, as you all know, throughout the pandemic, I have tried to avoid second-guessing the big decisions and the big judgment calls because I don't want to undermine people's confidence. I've been in contact with Western Australian Premier. They've obviously gone a very different model where they said, we're not opening till we get to 90%, and he's doing that on his health advice. So, the health advice is different to Western Australia where it is now. So there are two different models where in South Australia, this government has let it in at 80% vaccination, but interstate they're saying we're not going to do it till 90%. So people will be able to compare and contrast those models in due course. Look, I mean, it's an inconvenience to keep the borders closed. It's an inconvenience to open the borders up. And we are where we are now in South Australia. And as an alternate Premier of the state, my focus is on A, advocating for people getting vaccinated, but B, the future of our state as we go into a brave new world. And that's what I'll be presenting to people at the next election, an alternate vision that looks at what we can achieve in this post-COVID reality we're now entering into.
Peter Malinauskas, in the land of the living. Good to hear. And try to stay upright, and we'll catch up with you again soon. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, land of the living for now, but maybe after a week with 3 kids 6 and under, we could have a different attitude. But anyway, we'll see where we go.
That's right.
Well, good luck. Good luck. That's State Labor Leader Peter Malinauskas. He got the good news early this morning that he received a negative test. All right, let's check the fuel situation. It's not the fuel situation, let's check the traffic situation. Thanks to Glenelg BMW. Their opening sale event is on now with exceptional opportunities across the range. Visit Glenelg BMW today.
At Leeward Gardens, got a broken down track on the up track. It's near the Hyson Tunnels, causing delays outbound. Mitcham got a hole in the road there. Fullerton Road near Carrick-Hill Drive, causing a few headaches. Henley Beach Military Road is closed for works between Henley Beach Road and Main Street. Actually slow going at Dry Creek this morning for those continuing asphalt works. It's on Salisbury Highway near Port Wakefield Road. Cameras today, Barnett Road, Evanston, Hillier Road at Brunella. Are ants invading your home? Get Talon Ant Killer Gel, the clear, non-staining, odourless gel that kills the queen and destroys ants in the nest. Look for Talon Ant Killer Gel in your supermarket. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEaa.
Finally, you can get back to the Lion. Get back to the Lion for your end-of-year celebration in our dining room or one of our incredible event spaces. And if you book a midweek function before the end of December, you'll score a $200 Lion Hotel gift card. Head to lionhotel.com.au for details.
Back to the Lion.
Get back to the Lion for your end-of-year celebrations. Get back to where you belong. The Lion, North Adelaide.
Hi, I'm Stuart O'Grady, Race Director of the Santos Festival of Cycling. I'm riding for a reason this January, raising funds for Cancer Council to support South Australians impacted by cancer. You can ride your way, on the road, on a track, in a spin class, or exercise bike at home. Set your own distance as a challenge and raise funds. All the money raised goes towards supporting South Australians impacted by cancer. Register to Ride for a Reason today and make your ride count at rideforareason.com.au.
Now, we have many talented craftspeople in Adelaide, and to get their products in front of you, they fill their weekends with markets, fairs and community events in the hope that you find them.
Yeah, why not offer SA creators and consumers the market experience under one roof and all week long? Well, that was the thought behind OmMade, Meet the Maker. OmMade is a collaborative outlet supporting and promoting 35 talented makers through 5 retail locations throughout Adelaide.
And you've got to check out the range. It's amazing. You can shop for unique gifts for the whole family, all within the one store, from handmade jewellery to gin kits, and you often get to meet the maker behind the products.
Yep, it's OmMade, Meet the Maker. Now, you'll find them at Marion, Rundle Place, Central Market Arcade, Tea Tree Plaza, and at West Lakes.
Get more at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen with great deals on demos right across the range, all ready to drive away. And if you're impressed with our selection of cars, you'll love our service department with next day servicing, complimentary loan cars and breakfast or lunch on us. Why? Because when you're Adelaide's newest Volkswagen dealer, you want to give more. Visit mawsonlakesvw.com.au to see the range online. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
9 News is the one that's always been live and local. 9 News, made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
11 minutes to 9. Our newsreader extraordinaire, Mel Usher, has just tweeted out a story that I think is absolutely extraordinary, but is incredibly commonplace in modern Germany. It's been 76 years since the end of the Second World War, yet there are still munitions buried in the ground there, and sometimes they get exploded in pretty dramatic and dangerous ways. That's happened. Fox News reporting a World War II bomb exploded at a construction site next to a busy railway line in Munich. It's injured 4 people, one of them seriously injured. There's a new commuter line that's being dug up and built. So it's right next to or very close to an existing train line. And would you believe the size of these things is unbelievable. A 250 kilo bomb was found during drilling work. And it went off and exploded and it seriously injured someone. As I say, 4 people are among the injured as well. There are thousands of these still buried all over Germany.
I reckon a lot of our older listeners would remember. I've got very faint memories of it as a kid in the 70s, but I became obsessed with a TV show that was a British program. Remember the old the old Thames Television? And you always knew you were going to watch something good when that came on. But, from memory, the name of the show, help me out, folks, I think it was called Danger UXB, Unexploded Bomb. And it was about this group of crack military guys who would go roaming around England, mainly in London, finding unexploded World War II ordnance and defusing it. It was just the same thing over. Like every week they'd find another bomb and they'd work out how to... Amazingly good program.
Well, and it's apparent it's a huge operation. You imagine something with 250 kilos worth of explosives on board. You have to clear a pretty wide area. But just imagine being a construction worker in Munich or Germany. You know, you do it here and you might hit a water main and you think, oh, hell, that'd be a disaster. You do it there and you might hit something that was dropped and designed to explode with maximum force. It's quite frightening, actually. All right. Let's go behind closed doors, and we do that thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing, and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is Leon Viner.
Good morning and thank you for your attendance this morning. A lot to get to. I'll be talking to a number of leading scientists this morning who are well learned in various areas of expertise. They'll be able to put some meat on the bone with regards to the three-speed situation we find ourselves in with the ongoing COVID restrictions, and hopefully these experts have also studied the burgeoning branch of the English language called Leon Speak, because it can throw up a few curveballs and curly conundrums to a point where they don't understand what the hell I'm talking about. Don't forget, you can ring on any subject on 8223 0000, and we love to take your calls, being part of the commentariat. There's a term you don't hear often. I'm not convinced it's even a word. It sounds like a branch of the Communist Secret Service, but sounds incredibly good. Yes, it is a word. I've just looked it up, so feel free to give us a call. Let's say hi to Tony. Hello, Tony.
G'day, Leon. I'm calling from Port Augusta.
How can we help you, Tony?
Well, I don't know where else to turn. I was hoping you could use some of your Leon Speak to help us out.
Well, I'll try, but of course, if you're working with barbed wire, there are pricks everywhere.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Leon, I was wondering if anything can be done about the pistol club that's right over our back fence. They make so much noise, we never get a quiet weekend.
Well, the question, first of all, is who was there first, you or the pistol club?
Well, they won't do anything about it, you know.
But who was there first?
Well, they were.
Well, you see, that's where you suddenly spot the fly doing backstroke in your ointment, because if they were there first, their argument will be, well, why did you buy there?
Yeah, but all we want's every second weekend for it to be quiet.
No, but see, you're going to have a lot of trouble because of that, and, I mean, you can't buy a house on a busy highway, then try to get the highway moved, so you're not going to have a good outcome, I'm afraid, and isn't it somehow kind of refreshing to know that every now and then I can't do a thing to help someone?
Surely not.
That's exceptional. Leon Speak. It should be. It makes you bilingual. 7 minutes to Leon Bider, in fact, and we'll be back with more in just a moment.
As a small to medium business owner, you need a vehicle fleet that is fit for purpose. The new Nissan Navara is the ultimate workhorse, built tough to handle the harshest conditions. Packed with the latest intelligent safety and driving assistance tech, the new Nissan Navara is the ideal addition to your fleet. Let your local Nissan fleet dealer tailor a vehicle solution that's right for you and your business needs. Visit your local Nissan dealer or search Nissan Fleet today.
Let's get business back on track. Let's reopen and rebuild, rehire and regrow. If you're looking to make up for lost ground, Judo Bank is ready to support Australian businesses recovering from the pandemic. So whatever your business is longing to get back to, talk to your broker or a Judo banker about an SME recovery line today. Judo Bank, boldly backing business.
Eligibility criteria, fees, charges and terms and conditions apply. Visit judo.bank.
This Christmas, give the gift of pristine coastlines, breathtaking views, crystal clear water, Australian wildlife up close, tours and special experiences from dining under an enchanted fig tree to quad biking, even swimming with dolphins. Give a SeaLink gift voucher and enjoy all that Kangaroo Island has to offer.
Got to say, Will, you and I have become something of the experts on Kangaroo Island. I've been there 4 times. We've been twice.
Yeah.
Once
You're almost a local.
Fires. Yeah, people will talk. Been over there twice with my wife and children as well. Without doubt, Kangaroo Island ticks all the boxes as the perfect Christmas gift for friends, family, or just spoil yourself.
You've almost been there enough to start getting concerned about trucks kicking up dust. SeaLink gift vouchers start from...
Don't say it. Get involved with politics. Get involved with Michael Pengelly and run for mayor or something.
Exactly. SeaLink gift vouchers start from $20 and can be redeemed against any product offered by SeaLink in South Australia, including ferry travel tours, holiday packages, accommodation and more, plus gift vouchers. This is the best bit. Gift vouchers are valid for 3 years.
And look, it's so easy to organise. It's all packaged up so beautifully on the excellent website, sealink.com.au, where you can buy your gift voucher online. The website is very easy to navigate, very insightful. Check it all out at sealink.com.au.
G'day, it's Merv Hughes here. In my day, I loved battling the ponds, but these days, my missus is the enemy. Why? I snore really badly. But she saved the day by sending me for a CPAP direct sleep test. Now, the snoring is gone, I'm refreshed and revitalised.
CPAP Direct, now open at 600 Port Road, Allenby Gardens. From sleep studies to the latest CPAP gear at Adelaide's best prices. Sale on now.
If you snore or wake up tired, head to cpap.com.au.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
3 minutes to 9. Some great news for South Australia and South Australian football fans. FIFA have released the match schedule for the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. The final's going to be in Sydney. The whole event's from July 20 to August 6. There'll be games in 9 different cities, 10 separate venues. Now, Adelaide and Hindmarsh Stadium's included in this, which is terrific. 35 games will be held in Australia. 29 will be held in New Zealand. The great news is that here in Adelaide, we're going to have 4 group games in one round of 16 game. So there'll be 5 games here in Adelaide at Hindmarsh when, remember, there was a real threat not that long ago that we would be carved out of the entire process.
No, it's brilliant news, and they've still got that that plaque or that mini sculpture there near that great pub, the Joiners Arms, commemorating the one game that was played here during the Sydney Olympics. I can't remember which fixture it was, but that was all we got in 2000. I got to say, the Women's World Cup was one of the events of this year. It was so exciting, even though we fell short at the end, but
the Olympics.
I reckon sorry, yeah, that's right. But that match, the Australia, the Matildas versus the Poms, that was such an amazing game of
it was incredible.
One of the best games I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was just amazing. I'm just having a look around. I mean, like we want to compare our lot with what everyone else gets. I reckon we got a better deal than Perth. Perth get 5 group games, so we get a round of 16 game, which is going to be. It's when you're in the business. That's an elimination game. That'll be huge. Yeah. So we get one of those, which is pretty good. Brisbane have got a good run. They get a quarterfinal and the 3rd place playoff. Sydney obviously gets the final, a semi-final and a quarterfinal. Melbourne must have multiple stadiums, mustn't they? Or if they seriously only got... Melbourne have got 4 group games and 2 round of 16 games.
Is that all?
That's it.
Wow, that's only one more than us.
That's only one more than us. So mainly it's Sydney and Brisbane who have got a lot of the big fixtures and the ones that people are looking forward to. So anyway, great news for South Australia. Great news to Hindmarsh.
Yep. I might see you in a queue shortly, folks. I'm about to head off, jump in the car. Won't be stopping anywhere along the way, obviously. And, get the old pipe cleaner up the snout. Hopefully get a clean bill of health, like my good friend Will here, and also Lucy. Andy, I reckon you'll be right, mate. Got a good feeling about this one. And, we'll all be here in some capacity tomorrow.
That's right. We will be. We won't be there. We'll just be doing it this way, and who knows? We'll have all sorts of fun with callers again, and the technology and all that does go with it. But the beauty of it all is, and the great people that support us, is that we're able to do the show. So big thanks to everyone behind the scenes at 5AA, because finding out at 8 o'clock last night that we can't do it in the studio is one hell of a logistical challenge. So everyone came together and did a wonderful job, and a big thanks to everyone who's working at the those places where you get tested with the turnaround.
For sure.
As Lucy and I have found out, has been so quick and been terrific this morning. That's all from us. Stick around for Leon Biner, and we'll catch you tomorrow from 6.